6:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are heading to Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 in Kansas City to capture the AFC Championship.
Placement is down. Butker's kick is up. The spinning kick high, floating in the air, and it is good! Good!
Harrison Butker's 45-yard field goal with 3 seconds remaining lifted the Chiefs to their third Super Bowl appearance in 4 years and avenged their conference title game loss to the Bengals from the previous season. Meanwhile, the Eagles routed the San Francisco 49ers 31-7 in Philadelphia. The Niners suffered injuries to both their quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson, which greatly affected their offense. Super Bowl 57 set for Sunday, February 12th in Glendale, Arizona. You can hear the game on 104.5 The Zone. Kellen Moore out as offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Mike McCarthy says the team and Moore, quote, reached a mutual decision to part ways, end quote. And to the association, the Grizzlies defeated the Pacers 112-100. Ja Morant, a triple-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Monday morning edition as a new week begins on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. The Super Bowl is set. It's not only the Andy Reid Bowl, it's the Kelsey Bowl coming up in 2 weeks in Phoenix, Arizona. We discussed that. A big day in Knoxville over the weekend and a big week for us in Mobile after the show wraps up this morning. Alongside 11-year NFL veteran involved for life, Ramon Foster,
Hey.
the journalist whose J is always capitalized, Kayla Anderson, and the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen.
The best producer in the world!
I'm Will Bowling. Good morning.
I feel like you need a better intro, though, Will, at times. When you just be like, man, I'm Will Bowling.
Good morning to you, too.
Man, I just realized you give us all the praises in our intros, and you just be like, and I'm Will Bowling. I'm
You're
like,
acting like he never gets praises. Come on.
No. Every once in a while, he needs to just drop, like,
You
I'm
can
the
always-
best phenom.
Yeah, exactly.
I
There you go.
can do it for him. You feel me? Maybe it's on me, Kayla. I just feel like, no, you just not Will Bowling.
When you're the host of the show, that's kind of like what you do.
But I feel that.
because
but
you're kind of the host.
it just hit
You
me
get what I'm
this
saying?
morning that like and I'm Will Bowling. Like, no, you're a little
Well,
bit
you
more.
were technically the only one who had any type of title for a while. I just got the Big J like a week ago,
That was, no, that was not a week
maybe
ago.
two. At the most.
She been getting Big J for a long
It's
time.
been well over a month.
Yeah,
I was gonna
she's
say
been
it's
getting
been a
Big J
month.
for a
Yeah.
long
Months.
time.
It's been longer than you thought.
I like to throw a challenge flag on that.
These
Go
things
for
have
it.
to happen organically. Ramon reaches for the challenge flag.
I reach for the challenge flag and I'm placing
Who's
it.
looking it up?
Shafe has some audio,
Yeah, I
I'm
don't-
sure, for
okay.
about a month.
I don't have time.
NFL
Sorry.
replay assist confirms.
Do we need a Surface tablet in here?
No free
I don't
shout-out.
use Surface tablets.
Yeah, I know.
Do you?
I don't think anyone does
but the
outside of-
NFL
Okay,
does.
well, yeah, I feel like they just get broken.
Other than Coach Mack when he does his thing for the Titans.
There we go. Why are they broken though? Because people
Because
slamming
everyone
them?
Brady
There, okay.
throws it. Everybody seems to just treat them like trash. these
Belichick broke
tablets.
one.
I just needed clarity on that one. I knew where you were going.
Would that happen if it was a Mac? Would they be throwing that all over the place? Right?
I doubt it. People be trying to steal it more than anything.
Well, speaking of treating things like trash, Ramon Foster can celebrate today that there is not another AFC North team in the Super Bowl.
You know what? I was lowly rooting for them to lose.
Oh, you weren't lowly rooting. You were just straight up rooting.
I was, man. Listen, I respect them. They got a good team. They do. Joe, I tweeted it out last night. Like, they got a good, really good quarterback, probably going to end up being great. They got a stable head coach, and I say that in the aspect of like he has his team together all the way around. The defensive coordinator gets high praise. They got multiple other good players on that team too, and they find a way to Cincinnati lose that team. That's that game. That's all I can say. They find a way to Cincinnati lose it. That's all I can say. It's just like time and time again. It's just like, y'all don't have to be this way.
Well, they made it to the Super Bowl last year.
They did. They did. And, of course, the talking, the yah-yah, and the entire time, like, I get it, y'all, but y'all don't have to be this way, Cincy. You don't make it easy for yourselves when you lose like this.
No, that was an individual mistake, too.
There was other stuff, too.
I mean,
like
there was things that added to it.
Chris Jones worked that right tackle on that sack.
Yeah. I mean, he was incredible. But you can't be making boneheaded mistakes like that.
You heard there.
It's Patrick Mahomes on top of it already being a quarterback, on top of it being, okay, if he's anywhere close to out of bounds or inbound, out of bounds, just don't go there. He's running out.
When you knew his intent was to what? Get that first down?
Yeah.
And go out of bounds.
Yes.
I never understand.
And then he hurts himself in the process.
Yeah, hyperextended his freaking knee.
Crazy game, and it certainly made up for the fact that the NFC Championship game was about as boring as a football game could be.
Oof.
The NFC? It was 7-7 for a little while. I was just thinking, do they really have a chance? I knew they didn't have a chance, but it was just really like they kept it close for a long time, or longer than I thought they should have. Anyway, that catch wasn't a catch either, by the way, by Devontae Smith.
Oh, yeah. I heard people talking about that. Ooh. And then I went and did the replay. I was like, okay.
Oh, Devontae Smith knew it. That's why he said, get down here so we can run a play.
He did.
It's so weird, too, because I really like replay assist in the playoffs and how quickly they're able to just overturn calls. But it does change the dynamic of the way coaches look at replays and look at things to review.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're just going to trust that they're going to do it themselves. Maybe you're less incentivized to watch the replay and immediately throw the challenge flag.
Initially, when I saw Devontae hitting his knuckles together, basically saying huddle up, in those situations, you almost have to throw a flag if you're the opposing team. Mm-hmm. But there's also, to your point, so much stuff going on. They probably can't see Devontae doing that. The in-house replay is super slow when there's stuff like that that's going on. Like, it's intentional. And you just look at it as like, well, it's Devontae Smith. He's going to make a play like that. So I can get the hesitation, but you almost want to throw that flag. Had they thrown it, they'd have been right 100%.
Yeah, I agree. 615-737-1045 is our number. We recap both games and take a look, our first look at the Super Bowl coming up in Phoenix in a couple of weeks. Take a look at Tennessee's big win over Texas. Ramon also apparently has a story from his weekend in Cookeville.
I know. I got a couple stories.
Do you really?
I had Zeus.
Yeah, this one.
Another story. Oh, my gosh.
Cop cars and Zeus.
This dog with his invincible fence, a collar on, too.
And it's turned on.
It's turned on. I had to turn it up.
What?
Yeah.
He did it with that thing electrocuting him?
Kayla, I don't know what. It's almost like Keisha said yesterday. It's like he's pretty much knocking off his bucket list. You know what I'm saying?
Like, does he know his time's coming or something?
I feel like he knows it's coming to an end or something. Right? He don't act like it. Even last night, I'm telling him, Zeus, let's go. He lays there, y'all.
What was the switch? Like, why is he?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Like I told you, he has this allergy going on right now and is actually helping himself. I did have to put a cone around his head, too.
Oh, no way.
Because he keeps biting agitated spots on his fur. Like, we put him in the laundry room in the morning and, like, sleep. That's his space, right, to sleep in. He's always slept in there, okay? Always slept in there. We come out in the morning, he's biting the spots that he's not supposed to be agitating. Maybe because it's itchy, but he has antibiotic in him right now that's supposed to block the scratching.
Sure.
And he still just gnaws at it. I think it's become a habit now. So I had to put a cone on his head. This is a fancy cone, though, too. Like, it's got like.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Cone. What has it got?
It's
Cartier
like the Rolex
diamonds?
of
It's a
Gucci
it's
cone.
close, okay.
Gucci
Can
cone,
we have
Gucci
a
cone,
picture?
Gucci cone, Gucci cone,
Yeah.
Gucci cone,
I
Gucci
had to
cone,
get
Gucci
you a
cone.
picture. He has this cone that's
Dog
Velcro,
remix.
not plastic, okay?
What?
And then on top of it, I was stuck at the pet store when I bought it, Kayla. Don't blame me on this one. I didn't see the cheap plastic ones, and I was just like, well, I don't know what size cone to get, Zeus. I got the large XL one. This one's Velcro, super nice and soft around his neck.
Of course.
Okay? But not only that, it has a lavender tablet that goes on the inside to keep him calm. You know how lavender keeps
What the actual hell is going on?
Kayla, I'm trying to cater
He's
to
got
this dog.
aromatherapy cones.
Yeah. I can't even deny it. You know, usually I'm like, come on,
I
man.
this is
Come
the
on,
greatest thing
man.
I've heard.
I got nothing, Kayla, Will, listeners.
This is so funny.
It tripped me out, and I was just like, you know what? If I put my head in there, too, I'd probably be calm as hell myself. Straight up. I never...
Second half of a Tennessee game, fourth quarter of a Tennessee game, just put on the cone.
Give me a tablet.
Dude, I got to scratch your ears. So
Maybe we can get some money off of something like this.
Kayla, listen to me, Will. And I don't know if that's why he's laying down. He's basically having a bleep it moment. I don't know what is called with him as of late. But when I break down what he did on Sunday morning, y'all going to be like, come on, dog. What are you doing? Never in my life did I ever expect this visit at my door.
the man's pampered.
Yeah.
I got this nice cone on. Let me go show off for all the
Right?
lady
All the
dogs down the
ladies.
street.
So the dog got picked up by the cops.
Hey, man. Hey, man.
Get to the back of the car, Zeus.
How did the
Pause up.
dog get picked up by the cops?
He blew past the invisible line. First and foremost, that's how we start that
Break
off.
the speed limit.
He pretty much did.
What? The?
Dog, I'm sitting there and do at my door. I'm like, what the hell? What's going on? You know that cop knock, okay? Sheriff's at the front door.
No, we don't.
I'm going to say I really am not familiar with that.
No.
The cop knock, okay? You had look, toot. I was just like, oh my gosh, what is going on around here? And FedEx is at the front door with a delivered. The baseball jersey showed up, by the way.
Wait a minute. Was FedEx and the cops there at the same time?
Both federal employees were there, okay?
I don't believe you.
Federal employee.
By the way, FedEx is not
FedEx is
federal.
not
Is it
They're
not
Federal
federal?
Express, but they're not federal.
God, dog. Well, let me have my moment, okay? Zeus has already thrown me for a loop. I had something happen in Cookeville I got to address, too. It was a very eventful. I'll tell you about that. I know we're up against it right now. I got to tell y'all about it. I'll tell you about Zeus after this one.
Well,
if
this
we're
is
not
a drama
derailing.
to start Monday.
Tomorrow,
My goodness.
Tomorrow, Kayla and I will get to talk
Deep
about our
breath.
weekends. Once I
Deep
figure out
breaths.
how to introduce myself.
Hey, let's get some lavender, Will.
Oh, perfect.
They keep you calm, okay?
Coming up this morning, more of Ramon Foster's chaotic weekend, plus Grant Ramey at 8:20 discusses UT's win over Texas. And our friend Joshua Perry joins us at 9:20, former Ohio State linebacker, as we discuss our trip for the rest of the week. The Senior Bowl coming up starting tomorrow morning. We are out the door right after the show today, and certainly looking forward to that. But
Unless
when we
Zeus
come
goes to
back,
prison.
Unless Zeus goes to prison. When we come back, though, a recap of the conference championship weekend. The Chiefs, the Eagles heading to the Super Bowl. We react to the biggest moments and the biggest missed calls of the weekend. And there were many to choose from. On Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
Everybody's talking about regenerative medicine now because people who have joint pain are getting real lasting relief without drugs or surgery. Hey, it's Ramon Foster, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in this exciting treatment. They use highly concentrated healing agents from your own body to restore and repair damaged joint tissue. If you have ongoing joint pain from arthritis or injury, you need to call QC Kinetics. Don't assume that steroids and surgery are your only option. Times have changed, and regenerative medicine can get you moving again with no downtime. Stop taking the pain meds and discover this remarkable alternative that pro athletes have been using for years, thanks to QC Kinetics. This amazing treatment option is now available for folks like you and me who are sick and tired of joint pain. Don't put this off any longer. Spring is coming, and you want to enjoy all life has to offer. Call QC Kinetics now at 615-249-4024. Get a free consultation with local medical medical professionals. And you can call them again at 615-249-4024.
Mahomes trying to buy some time on that bad ankle, moving to his right. He is now scrambling, and he's going to get a first down. And now gets hit late. He gets hit late. He gets hit late. Mahomes gets hit late. It'll be a 15-yard penalty on top of the gain, and the gain should be bound to the 35-yard line.
It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. Let's hope you're about 1% as awake as the play-by-play voice of the Kansas City Chiefs.
What did he say? Oh, yeah. He got hit late.
I think he got hit late.
right.
It's Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling with you.
I was in the pool. There was shrinkage.
It sounded like he was in the pool, kind of.
What?
Moan doesn't understand the reference because he's never seen Seinfeld, which is fine because black people don't watch Seinfeld.
I was going to say that there's not a whole lot of crossover there, is there?
Not a whole lot of crossover on that one.
I'm going to get a lot of heat for this.
You joining us?
I just never.
Come to the dark side.
I haven't watched it either, actually.
You haven't?
I know the
Okay.
references, though, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, but Will's also 14 years old. I didn't
Right.
expect Will to have watched
Well, no,
it.
I turned 16 a couple weeks ago.
Hey.
Thought I
He
saw
got
your
his driver's license, folks.
No, I still
You
got to go
saw
take
it
the
too,
test.
didn't you? I saw his driver's license.
The oldest show that I've watched is The Wire. Other than that, I'm
'cause
kind of,
You watched The Wire too?
of course.
Oh,
The Wire is one of the greatest television shows of all time. You have to watch The Wire.
I knew it. Airfire that thing.
I mean, I may be young, but I do have good taste.
I mean, that's very
Anyway.
true too.
I'll just introduce myself like that.
There we go.
The
I may
host
be
with the
young,
best
but I have
taste
really
of
good
radio.
taste.
I knew we'd get there eventually. You feel me,
But
Kayla?
it's like somebody else has to say it. He can't say that.
Yeah, I know,
That'd
that's
be
the thing.
weird.
I can't hype
And
myself up.
me, I'm 25, but I have really good taste. Will Bullied.
And there's only one phenom. My name is. Anyway, Patrick Mahomes had a good game on Sunday night.
the transition.
Smooth as butter, baby.
29 of 43, 326 yards, 2 touchdowns. The high ankle sprain was an issue.
Yeah,
Oh.
it was.
Oh,
It
he was on
noticeable.
one leg that time.
I couldn't believe the stuff that he was doing. Apparently, it was his rolling to the left.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't even
Yeah,
want to get off.
We're
real
going to go
quick.
to the same place.
You
and
want
I'm
to go
going to
there?
go ahead
Okay,
and take it there.
I'll wait. Go. You want it?
I'm going to go ahead and take it
You
there.
want it?
Yep.
Take it there, Will.
See, we're at the point where we can read each other's minds now.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
The amount of NBA references that Tony Romo made in this game was preposterous.
Well, before we get to that, Tony Romo just talks way too much.
Oh, Jim,
Jim-
here we go. It's a big play, Jim. Jim, it's 3rd and 6. What are they going to do? He can't roll to his left.
Okay, but
And it's like the
Jim
second
Nance
quarter.
did not help by. He literally pushed Tony to keep going. Oh, Tony, you're kind of young to know that NBA reference.
Because Jim doesn't want to talk anymore, so he lets Tony finish up.
Like
the
Jim,
time.
come on,
down.
don't egg it on.
The best was
That's
when
so over him.
was when the referees blew the play dead and then gave Kansas City a redo on that 3rd down.
Yeah.
And Tony is trying to explain this and figure this out and talk about it in real time. Like, well, I guess they blew it dead, and then, but how did they get? And then Jim just goes, Gene, sort this out for us, Gene, and just tells Tony, hey, Gene, hey, Gene, please shut him up, Gene.
You know what's crazy is you listen to him trying to do this predicting thing. You know, that's what really bothered me the most. Look, Jim, over here you got 2 wide receivers lined up. There's a hole right here. And then all of a sudden, the running back motions to the left side of the line of scrimmage. I'm like, you're not going to address the motion there, huh, Tony? You're not going to tell us why he's motioning out over there, huh? Give us that side of it, too. It was just the overall chatter. He pretty much ruined it to me.
He talked the whole time, but it used to be more natural, I feel like, when Tony first got there, which is kind of bizarre to say because you should be improving as time goes on. Now I feel like it's more forced and everyone's noticing it.
Yeah. And then he was just so loud in his approach to overtalk Jim and just want to make sure everybody knew everything that you were saying. And I felt like, okay, maybe it is because I played the game and I feel like he's overtalking. And then I text y'all were like, no, he needs to just shut up.
Travis was like so annoyed.
Oh my gosh.
Especially going from Greg Olson to him. Greg
Yeah.
Olson is one of the best in the business right now.
Yeah, he is.
Natural, easy. He deserves a number 1 spot on a network when Tom Brady takes his seat.
It was just the predicting of plays, the over-explaining of plays, too. Like, it's like somebody told him, it was like, hey, just give us a little bit more. And he just went supersonic on it and just drops everything to over-talk everybody. And I was just like, Tony, you should probably bring it back just a little bit, man.
Like, bro, like go change your Skechers. Like
Change your Skechers. Goodness sakes.
That was good right there. But
Have a Corona.
everybody was saying the exact same thing, though, to a T. It's just like Tony Romo talks a lot.
Yeah, he does.
Let the game play itself out some.
Well, Kansas City only had 23 points, and Mahomes accounted for 323 of the Chiefs' 357 net yards. The last play there, the 15-yard penalty to set up the Harrison Butker field goal, a really stupid way for a great game to end, but it was 100% the right call.
oh yeah.
No other way around
No
that
question.
call
Yeah.
right there. I mean, you look at the setup of it. You knew they were driving. They didn't have many touchdowns left. I mean, timeouts. Did they even have any timeouts left at that point? I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
Nope.
And of course, Patrick, I got to give it to him. His
Yeah.
will
Holy
on
smokes.
that play in general.
To run?
And I thought he was running just to get out of bounds. No, he was running to get past the line of game for the first down. And lo and behold, a push. Y'all, and somebody's got to break it down to me as a defensive connoisseur or something. Like, how was it that he didn't see him running out of bounds?
You just don't even go there, though.
You don't go there.
Not when the game is at that point.
No. Like, there was a point when Joe Burrow had his big run.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember that
You
one.
remember that when Joe broke out of the line of scrimmage, and it looked like he was going to slide. Then he shook a defender, and then he got the first down. And I'm thinking to myself, you should have probably hit him right there. But Joe runs in such a way that he could slide at any moment. So you got to pull up off of him, but you got to get those hits off when you possibly can, too, to discourage him from running. Patrick, he was running towards the sideline the entire time. And it was gutsy of him, if the wheel was hurting like we thought it was, for him to get to that line of game. And big-time players make big-time plays.
It was a legacy game for Patrick Mahomes. Gutted it out.
Yeah, he did.
Now, he
Made it
won't
work.
be walking for 4 days, but
That's right.
other than that.
Not.
And the first 2 playoff sacks as well in Chris Jones' career. Thought that was surprising.
Chris Jones looked like a beast.
Had
Yes,
never
he
had a
did. He
postseason
really
sack.
did.
He lined up one-on-one and was on a different level.
Yeah, he was.
615-737-1045. We also always have to be thankful for the 5:30 kickoffs now for
Oh, that
these
was so nice.
playoff games.
Yeah,
Normalized 5:30 kickoffs Central Time for prime time.
for prime time.
Yeah.
I'm here for that.
Signed morning show host. We go to Eric in
We
Nashville.
appreciate it.
615-737-1045. Hey, Eric.
What's up, Eric?
Eric, you there? Eric is not there. We will go to
Nice.
Paul in Franklin.
What's up, Paul?
615-737-1045. Hey, Paul.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing?
We're
Great.
good.
Morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Hoping y'all have a great weekend. It was a great weekend for football. Look, I'll make it quick. Big Randy, I don't know what the line is going to be on Philadelphia and Kansas City, but I'm going to tell you right now, Philadelphia's going to dominate. I'm just going to go on and put my money on what I don't care what the line is, because Philadelphia is the superior football team of the two, Big Randy. They have all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
And they are solid. And look, and Patrick Mahomes is a great quarterback. Not taking nothing away from him. And that hit out of bounds was absolutely the right call.
Mhm.
Absolutely, that was a just bizarre play by the defender on that. But look, you know what the number one piece of Kansas City going in the Super Bowl that they ain't gonna be able to carry with them to the Super Bowl?
What's that?
And that's it. And that's that home field advantage. And I'm gonna tell you what, the home field advantage in the NFL definitely means something. It's the line. You give 3 points just called home field advantage. But Kansas City, I gotta say this, and I know I'm gonna get some flack about it. Kansas City's home field advantage. The refs there are absolutely 100% biased. And I'm going to tell you, and they are. And when the Titans went out there this year, the Titans totally dominated that game. And it was the most worst officiated game of the season. And I've seen it a long time. I've watched football for 40 years. But anyway, that being said, I think that Jalen Hurts and that bunch are destined to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I do. And thank y'all, and God bless you. Take the call.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you, Paul.
Paul.
He's not that wrong.
No.
Like, there's definitely. There's definitely some calls that happen there that are like, what?
Yeah.
Say what?
And Patrick works those refs the entire game.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he does.
What, he takes some
y'all.
TikTok advice from his brother?
Oh.
He gets
Lord.
loud when he's at Arrowhead, man. Yes, he does.
It's funny, you don't hear about Jackson anymore.
Thank goodness. Let's keep it that way.
I wonder if Patrick made a call to like the media, like, "Hey, can y'all not do this for me, please?"
I think he made a call to
to his brother.
To his brother,
And like
Did
said,
you think
pipe
so?
down.
Said, y'all just
real.
release any
For
TikTok you
real.
want to after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, somebody took a screenshot of him. He was somewhere around, I think.
Well, I'm sure.
But yeah, you're right. They piped down big time now. Him and his wife.
His
now?
wife.
Wife now. Okay, nice.
How deep I gotta dig
Yes.
for you to pipe down?
Yeah, that's a good
Don't want
thing.
to be disrespectful.
Talking about the Eagles, the impressive part about what they've been able to do now is the 3 Super Bowl appearances that the Eagles have made in this millennium are with 3 different coach and quarterback combinations.
Nuts.
Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb, Doug Peterson, Nick Foles, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
How do you sustain this?
It's incredible.
But you don't.
You know, like that's overly impressive, Will, to be able to do that 3 times. Like, we don't speak enough about that. That's 3 different eras, man. Quarterbacks and coaches. That's impressive.
Really is.
And I think the 49ers defense deserves a lot of credit for the effort they gave in Philadelphia yesterday, because with an offense and with a quarterback, I think the 49ers make this a really good game because that defense played a lot better than what the score showed.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did.
49ers gave up less than 275 yards of total offense. The Eagles were only 33% on third downs, yet the score looks like a blowout because of Brock Purdy's injury on the opening possession.
Yeah. Yeah. Brock, I thought had a shot to really do something special in this game. Like, legitimately, they were going to protect him. And the way that defense was playing, or the way that defense even played after he was out, you can tell they were like locked in. It's all hands on deck for this type of game. And it sucked because, like you said, 31-7, it was probably worse than that because the Eagles, for the most part, just churned the ball out in the run game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they really had to do much. They took a couple shots to get some chunks and didn't get them. But for the most part, they just said, we're going to grind you guys out. And they did that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a team that's just had awful quarterback luck, and it's just amazing that they're still able to be at this point. I mean, the Niners is just crazy. It's just quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. And then you had the Johnson kid come in, and then he got a concussion, and they had to use Purdy, who couldn't throw. I mean, it was just, at some point, we thought we'd see Christian McCaffrey come in at quarterback. I don't think I've ever seen something like this, where the quarterback luck is that bad, but then it goes to show, like Will was saying, just how well that team is coached and just how many other weapons they have around them to be even able to keep it close for a while. And you can thank that defense for that a lot. And going back to the Eagles' comment about the different coaches and the different quarterbacks, what's crazy about that too is the 2 head coaches that have Super Bowls are now doing pretty well on other teams as head coaches. And Andy Reid, who they're going to see, and Doug Peterson, who is now kind of changing things around in Jacksonville. It's interesting, isn't it?
You're 100% correct. And also, was I heard somebody say this morning too. Philly gave Carson Wentz $120 million and still went and drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round that same year. That's right there is like planning, or just saying, hey, I don't know what it said about Wentz because clearly they found out something soon after that. But the idea that they still went and drafted an early quarterback in the second round, and now he's that guy that's playing in the Super Bowl after that. How many teams has he been on since? Colts, Commanders.
Yeah.
Colts and Commanders.
Colts and Commanders. I thought it was with
Who
somebody
knows
else
what's
too.
happening next?
And who knows what's happening next? That right there is really
That
knowing
is
your personnel.
crazy.
That's kind of telling, isn't it?
It's a succession plan that general managers dream of.
Yes.
To get a second-round quarterback who can have this big of an impact, win an MVP, and take your team to the Super Bowl all in the same season, surrounded by, I should add, the best offensive line in football.
Boom.
And maybe the best supporting cast of your top 2 wide receivers and tight end in football as well.
And on top of that, to still be able to hold down the trenches on the defensive side of the ball too.
It has been a masterclass in roster building by Howie Roseman.
He should write a book. They should write a book. Like, if you can get somebody from inside Philadelphia, Find out what they're doing because this doesn't happen like this.
Yeah, and shout out to MTSU's Blankenship.
Yeah,
Like
Blankenship.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about players just making the most of their opportunities. You get that there.
615-737-1045. We go back to Eric in Nashville before we go to break this morning. Hey, Eric.
Guys, I don't know what happened. My phone died on me for a few minutes. It took me several minutes
It's all
to
right.
get it back up. So, yeah. But, guys, first of all, I just want to say this. It has got to kill Jerry Jones that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be in their second Super Bowl and chance to win it in 5 years. That's got to be eating him alive.
Has to.
Yeah. Hey, guys, just a couple things about the games. I know the media's happy. This is what they wanted, Andy Reid against his former team, because I think that's what most of the media wanted, guys. But certainly that fourth down play and what happened, and then he was getting a touchdown, and the fact that it should have been not happened, that changed the trajectory of the whole game because you don't know if Brock Purdy gets hurt. Maybe he still does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But just in that next series, and they just were dead meat. And I think somebody said they changed that rule, whatever it was, where you can have a guy like a Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel come in as a very quarterback. Somebody said the rule on that was changed where that couldn't happen, and that's why Purdy had to come back in. I didn't get that, understand that, but that's why they were kind of screwed in that situation, guys. But, hey, credit to the Eagles for doing what they had to do to win. And as far as Kansas City, guys, I tell you what, not only self-inflicted wounds, but also you talk about that whole play where Romo was also confused, saying it was fourth down when it was actually third down due for that.
Mm-hmm.
And also what the coach, Zach Taylor, was complaining about. If you remember, guys, there was a roughing the punter a call. He was saying that the Cincinnati player was pushed into the kicker, and that's why that happened. He was upset about that they should have looked at that, and it sure looked like the guy pushed him into the kicker for that penalty that happened. But, guys, all in all, I'm hoping I'm wrong, guys. But Paul was saying, I don't know if it's going to be Eagles, but it would not shock me, which everybody's talking about would be a fantastic game, might be a blowout. And it's going to be interesting to see also if A.J. Brown trolls Titans fans to the Super Bowl, especially with the local media and stuff, guys. But I'm happy for him and Brett Kern having the shot to get a Super Bowl ring. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Yeah.
Appreciate the call.
No doubt. That's definitely going to be a conversation piece. AJ leaves in 1 year, he gets the Super Bowl. But even more is you have a dude that's been in the league for so long, like Brett Kern.
That's what I'm excited about.
Did you all notice his kicking cleats too?
I didn't.
The bottom were light blue. They were Titan blue.
Were they really?
I feel like they were, unless the green was tinted. It looked like he still has his Titan cleats
Giving
on.
a little bit of love.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see that yesterday.
No, I'm happy for him. And you know what? Good for A.J. Brown, too. But he's got so many more years. I just think for Brett, the reason why I'm just so excited is because he was home.
Yeah.
He was in here. We saw him in studio.
Chilling.
Hey, Brett, just chilling. And then he goes and gets this opportunity. That's pretty cool.
615-737-1045, our number. More of your phone calls coming up next. And something Jalen Hurts did that has not often been done for successful college quarterbacks during yesterday's game. We'll give you the history of the record books that he is rewriting in Eagles history to reach a Super Bowl this year. That's next as Ramon, Kayla, and Will continues on 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson for Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Listen to us. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. They are the heating and cooling company that can take care of all of your HVAC needs. And Spring Hill Heating and Cooling is also a York certified comfort expert company. And guess what they do with those York products too? They back them up with 10-year parts and labor warranties too, Kayla.
And you know what? The one thing that you can't really rely on here in Middle Tennessee, the weather. It's always up and down. But one thing you can rely on is our friends at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. It is a family-owned and operated company that's been around and been in business for over 10 years. They deliver all the services that those bigger corporate guys offer, but the big thing with them, they deliver it with the friendliness of family. The Spring Hill Heating and Cooling family responds promptly to issues and gets your problems resolved quickly and accurately.
For all of your HVAC needs, seriously, go to springhillac.com and be sure to tell them that Kayla and Ramon sent you.
Check them out.
I got some wise words for that Cincinnati mayor. Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
Oh, Travis Kelce's always got something to say after a win. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on 104.5 The Zone. On the gradient of messing around and finding out, the city of Cincinnati and the mayor of Cincinnati is off the charts this morning.
What's
Off the
crazy?
charts.
He's from Ohio and went to the University of Cincinnati.
Hate that for him.
I'm just saying, Kelsey.
Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce did. This is like, bro, you might have to go back there soon, and you probably gonna get a ticket too when you get pulled over.
Likely.
The mayor of Cincinnati, I didn't see his statement at all.
I
his
did not see
proclamation until last night.
Didn't see it.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Okay.
doing way too much, right?
We go to the phones where Debbie is in Nashville, ready to chime in on that with us this morning. Hey, Debbie.
What's up, Debbie?
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
Good morning.
I've lived in Nashville probably 12 years. Originally grew up in Kansas City. Was a season ticket holder when we were kids. Whatever, all that stuff. So watching the mayor of Cincinnati trash talk the Mayor Q of Kansas City, start talking trash about barbecue, his weak stomach, sending him martinis. Burrowhead, the whole thing, watching Travis Kelce at the end of that game just had me rolling. And I want to know what you think the over-under is that the mayor of Cincinnati wins his reelection or if this just goes away. That's my question for this morning. Love you guys.
Thank you,
great.
Debbie. Appreciate the call. It certainly did not help his reelection campaign, probably.
No, it did not, man.
He thought he was endearing himself to the people.
Look at
Think
him.
again.
It's just doing too much, man. But y'all know my dislike is just what it is, right? But
Right.
all I can say is it's just so Cincinnati. Like,
Yeah.
that's all I got. I got more, but I'm going to wait. I got more.
At some point, just like slow the roll on the talk. You don't need
Yeah.
everybody in the town saying Burrowhead and this and that. What was his? Did you have the full statement of? Or
Yeah,
was
we're
it really
finding it.
long?
It's a
Okay,
lot. It's
'cause
cringy.
It is a
I
lot.
didn't hear the entire thing.
We can play part of it.
Yeah. By the way, too, part of it, I got to finish this up. Zeus got arrested this weekend,
Oh, my
man.
goodness. Here we
Wait,
go.
how do we get back to this?
We already told this story.
No, we didn't. We didn't get to all of it. Zeus blows through the invincible fence. It's Sunday morning, get a knock at the door. The cop in our driveway was like, "You got a big black dog?" It's like, "Yeah, of course. Big black guy, big black dog. Here we go." I was like, "Man," he was like, he was down at the neighbor's driveway over there. He was over there playing with their dogs and everything. I was like, "What are you doing, dog?" I walk out of the house to go to the cop car. Dudes open up the door like you just got pulled into your crib at 11 o'clock at night. All I see is his big old head looking up like, what?
In the cop
You
car?
said-
In the cop car. He's in the back seat.
Wait, in the what?
In the back seat of the cop car. I wish they'd have put handcuffs on
They
him to
should
teach him
have.
a lesson, man.
They should have paused. Like,
Here I
Let's
am
pause it,
taking
man.
care of him with his skin condition he got going on right now. I'm buying him a Velcro cone head and everything. And he's just out here. Aromatherapy and everything. I'm washing him 3 times a week now. He is killing me. And the nerve of this animal to run away from the house. Not for the first time. Not for the second time. The 3rd time within a week, y'all.
Anyway.
What's going on with this friggin' dog? The cop opened up the door, or the sheriff opened up the door, and I'm just like, yeah, that's him. And I just had a talk. We're like, what's wrong with you, Zeus? What are
Child
we
of
doing this
God.
for?
bad
Yeah,
boys. What you gonna do?
Anyway.
He's a child of God. He can't be doing this.
So who is in more trouble this morning, Zeus or the Cincinnati mayor, for saying this before the Chiefs
Ooh, that's
game
a
over
good
the
pull
weekend?
right there.
Cincinnati, I have a proclamation from the desk of the mayor. Be it proclaimed, whereas the Cincinnati Bengals are headed to Burrowhead Stadium for their 2nd consecutive AFC Championship game. Whereas at last year's game, the Bengals scored more points than the Chiefs, resulting in a Bengals victory and a Chiefs loss. Whereas Joseph Lee Burrow, who's 3-0 against Mahomes, has been asked by officials to take a paternity test confirming whether or not he's his father. Whereas all season long, Cincinnati has been on a path of destiny, fighting it out to overcome anyone who stands between them and a Super Bowl win. And whereas Kansas City is named after its neighboring state, which is, just kind of weird. Now, therefore, I, Aftab Purval, mayor of the city of Cincinnati, do hereby proclaim January 29th, 2023 as They Gotta Play Us Day in Cincinnati. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, he sounds like a child.
Yeah.
Sounds younger than me.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Second of all, that was just way too scripted for me.
It's corny.
I'm not
you can
about
call
that.
it what it is. He was corny
Like
for that.
Cincinnati, if you want us to take you seriously,
Yeah.
you got to act better than this.
It's that.
You got to.
And I don't have anything against Cincinnati,
What
the
we do
team,
now.
but that's cheesy.
Oh my goodness,
Cheesy.
that's great. Yeah, I don't know if that guy is going to be back in office again.
No.
And that was Talking Politics on Ramon, Kayla, and Will.
Oh, here we go. That's right. That's right. Yes,
This is what
boys. What
This
you
is
want? What you want?
Oh my goodness.
I'm just picturing Zeus handcuffs.
I should have took a picture of him, his head just looking out. And then he didn't want to get out of the cop car like he belonged there,
Right?
too.
He belongs
I had
to those
grab
streets.
him. I'm like, please don't arrest me for abuse. I had to grab him and pull him out of the cop car.
This is great.
I wish he'd had the lights on.
This will be what we hear today too if we speed on the way to Mobile. So coming up in hour 2, news from around the NFL, coaching carousel out of the NFC Championship, as well as history made by Jalen Hurts. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will. 104.5 The Zone.
It is 7:02. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are heading to Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 in Kansas City to capture the AFC Championship.
Placement is down. Butker's kick is up. The spinning kick high, floating in the air, and it is good! Good!
Butker's 45-yard field goal, 3 seconds remaining, lifted the Chiefs to their third Super Bowl appearance in 4 years and avenged their conference title game loss to the Bengals from the previous season. Meanwhile, the Eagles routed the San Francisco 49ers 31-7 in Philadelphia. The Niners suffered injuries to both their quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson, which obviously greatly affected their offensive output. Super Bowl 57 set for Sunday, February 12th, Glendale, Arizona. You can hear the game on 104.5 The Zone. Kellen Moore out as offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Mike McCarthy says the team and Moore, quote, reached a mutual decision to part ways, end quote. The Grizzlies defeated the Pacers 112-100. John Morant, a triple-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Monday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, continues into hour number 2. 3 years ago today, Jalen Hurts was in Mobile, Alabama for the Senior Bowl, and now in 2 weeks, he'll be the youngest starting quarterback in Eagles history to make a start in the Super Bowl, alongside 11-year NFL veteran, Vol for Life, Ramon Foster. The J, who is that is always capitalized, the journalist, Kayla Anderson, and our best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen.
The best producer in the world!
In the world. I'm Will Bowling.
There's only one Phenom.
That's right. 615-737-1045, our number. Jalen Hurts will be the third quarterback to win, or to start, I should say, both a Super Bowl and a national championship game since the title game era began, go Vols, in 1998. Joining Joe Burrow and Cam Newton.
There we go.
Youngest quarterback in Eagles history to reach a Super Bowl at 24 years, 175 days old.
He's only 24 years old, man. Going to a Super Bowl as a starter.
Bring me all the Stetson Bennett jokes you have.
Oh, God. Did you, when I text you guys this weekend, I was so excited.
Stetson and his
I was
breaking
like,
news.
Stetson.
Way to go, Stet.
Are you going Johnny Football on us?
I mean, he's not from Texas.
No.
Oh, he's from Georgia.
He's from
Blackshear,
Georgia. What was he doing, like an appearance somewhere probably? Or just on this tour?
Looks like he was just partying in Dallas.
He's probably meeting with different used car companies, used car dealerships that he can go work for.
We can't wait to pile on. I love
He's
it.
going to go
man.
be an enterprise rental car expert.
I could
former
see him doing
athletes
that.
go pro in something other than sports. That's what they do.
Oh
Anyway.
my gosh. I told y'all I had a little story to tell.
You
too.
do? Okay, go ahead.
That was a first for me this
Ramon
weekend.
was in Cookeville this
Yes.
weekend.
That was a
For a
first
tournament?
for me. Yeah, for a basketball tournament, y'all. And it happened. It finally happened, y'all. I got kicked out of a game.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
What did you do?
breaking news.
Excuse me?
I got kicked out of. Let me break everything down to you. I'm a father of a big, right? A center, right? Bigs get wrongly like fouled. Like you see certain stuff that happens. As a parent, of course, you see everything. And I'm just like, hey, watch it. I'm yelling. I'm at the top of the friggin' stands. It's where you gonna find me every game, okay? Hey, y'all gotta watch it. They're getting a little testy. I'm just letting them know, like it's beyond play. It's beyond play at that point. They had a couple kids in their team. You can tell they were football players because I was a football player too that played basketball. I understood the assignment, except I went out there to try to actually score. I thought I was going to be the next Ron Slay. That was my thing, okay? I was wearing a headband. No lie. Like, I loved basketball way more than I love football.
Oh, yeah.
Like, absolutely. Why am I playing football for? I'd rather play basketball. I'm going to the NBA. That was my thing. So I was actually trying to hoop. Football players go out there and they're aggressors, right? They go out there for the fouls. One one kid, man, I don't even want to. He nudged his head into a guy's back. Point guard is going down the court. He shoved him in the back. Ref didn't call it. I'm just like, somebody's going to get hurt, y'all. Come on. I'm like, y'all got to regulate this thing. That's your job, is control the game. So, lo and behold, kid got hit in the stomach on one end. And then, of course, when they tried to regulate, they called it on my kid. Fine, cool. But it was a touch foul for him. And I'm like, something don't seem right about this. Regardless, foul on my kid. He's trying to break up everything. Go to the other end. My kid's going up for a rebound. Comes down. Some kid goes across his face from what it looked like anyway. Boom. In the nose. I don't react. I'm cool. Stay calm. My wife, she's cool. Be cool. He gonna get up. Then all of a sudden, his Coach Lowry, calls out my wife, Nikisha. And I was like, what the? He's calling the parents down. Something serious. I go down. Going on the floor. Me. Do all the way down the stands because I gotta go at that point. My kid's on the floor, coach over him. They trying to figure out what's going on. So I get out there and I'm telling the refs, this is y'all fault. Told y'all to regulate it. This is what happens. This is on y'all. I go over to him. Coach is over there with him. Come turn around, blood on the floor everywhere.
Oh, no.
And I'm just like, and I'm telling the ref, y'all, I told y'all this was happening. Y'all didn't regulate it. This is on you. As a parent side, it really kicked in then.
Yeah.
But I'm calm. I'm not yelling. I know my stance, okay? I know my stature on the court. I understand who I am, what I do. I'm not going to act out of character. Mm-hmm. I'm just letting them know, y'all tripping. We told y'all it was too much going on in this floor, and y'all didn't call it and regulate it. So I was like, come on, let's get up. Let's go to the bathroom, clean this up. Pool of blood on the floor.
What was it?
Just a busted nose, like big time.
Okay.
Just gushing out of here, okay? I'm walking off the court. And mind you, the refs are on the other end towards the exit. And I'm telling them, I told y'all to regulate this. Lo and behold, dude's looking as I'm walking towards them. I'm not walking towards them. I'm walking towards the exit. He just so happened to be in the way. So I'm like, I told y'all to get this. This is on y'all. Y'all need to fix this friggin' game. However you need to. Y'all letting way too much crap go on. Get there, and I'm walking probably about 15 feet from him. Hey, you got to go. I'm like, hey, I'm probably better off on the outside anyway. I'm good. And then he points to the SRO guy, the student resource guy, and he's like, hey, get him out. I was like, hey, I'm good. I'm going to walk out of here on my own 2 feet. You don't have to tell me. He's like, and the student resource officer, super cool. He's like, I see it. He's like, you're fine. You're good. I was like, yeah, I am. And then they end up having to clean up everything on the floor and everything. And I sit out there in the lobby. I didn't go back into the gym at all because I basically got the boot. My first time ever getting kicked out of a game, man. Mind you, I didn't lose control. I was calm. I just let them know, like, I know he's a big. We all got big kids. I was a big. The fouls happened. This scratch on the side of my eye. Only reason it stopped because I had blood gushing down my face. You feel me? Like that. I get it. But there is a level of don't call a ticky-tack on a big, and then you let that kid get hammered down low, and you don't recognize it. And I saw those kids just initiating so much crap up the middle. I'm like, y'all got to fix this. Second half, I come to find out that they end up having like 11 fouls to 3. And I'm like, don't overcorrect it now. Like, call it as it is. But as I was in timeout, I sent pictures of people like, look at me, I'm in timeout, y'all. But I sat out there and I had a real good conversation, man, with the former principal, Cliff Matlock. We sat there. He listened to the show and everything. He was like, man, I listen to you guys. I'm all the way in Cookeville. He was like, signal's good. He was like, certain areas that drop off. He was like, but I listen to you guys every single time. I'm like, hey, appreciate that. And so, but he walked up to me. He was like, you Ramon Foster. I was like, God, dog.
Oh, no.
There he goes in the principal's office.
I was in the principal's office.
I feel like if there's a reason to get thrown out, this is a pretty good one.
Yeah. And you did it in a good way for the most part.
Yeah.
The parents upstairs was nervous though. Because I had that stern dad
voice.
voice.
Yeah.
I did, and I had warned them, like, y'all got to call this. I ain't asking for preferential treatment whatsoever, but if a strike's a strike, a foul's a foul, and a touchdown, a touchdown. I know, but I knew it was going to go there because I saw the two kids that were football players, and I'm sure they're really good football players, too, because you can tell they have a knack for physicality.
Yeah.
But there was a portion of it that was more or less just like, yo, it's all right to call a foul when it's called one. And people in the stands were just a smidge nervous. Bro.
I feel like and refs
Make
work
them shake in
hard,
their
and
boots.
there's a shortage of refs out there in TWSAA.
There
So
is.
I don't
Really
wanna,
is.
I don't want to criticize them too much, but when a kid is hurt and there's blood on the floor, you got to have a little bit thicker skin than throwing a guy out for being protected. Because at that point, like, it's not like at that point you were warning them of like something's going to happen. No, something already happened.
It already did. And like I said, I get it. I understand how it works. Well, I'm not I usually sit at the top and don't say anything. We usually just chill out in those situations. But that was just one that was just like, I see it brewing. So get it under control before it actually goes there. And to your point, Will, yes, it's tough being a ref. I probably couldn't do it. I'm going to be completely honest
Well, and they don't
with
get
you.
paid anything.
They don't.
either,
I mean, I don't know what their stipend is, but they got to travel there. They got to call the call,
It's not
deal with
good.
parents. But when you see that one happen, I was just like,
you got to do what you got to do. You're a dad. You're
I hated
protecting
to
your
do
kiddo.
it though. I did, but again, I'll say this: I apologize to our coach at the time. I apologize again because I didn't want to create a scene. I thought it was more level, but I didn't want to go there. I got kicked out of the game this weekend though. They won the game,
And for good reason.
Yeah, depends on who was looking, I guess.
I got a blue ribbon.
I didn't want
to.
to be a bad representation of RK Dub. You feel me? So
That's right.
it had come on and
You also don't want to be a pushover.
yeah. Well, see,
Nobody
Kayla
can
is
push
the-
that guy over.
Kayla's the savage
No,
of the show right
I'm
here. Yeah, here I am apologize. She's like, no. When you're right, you're right.
No,
Well,
I mean, we would tell
least
you
you
if
own
you were
it.
in the wrong, but I feel like you were. This is a good reason to get thrown out.
I mean, yeah.
Damn show ain't killed.
That's
Man, but yeah, when I was walking towards the ref, Will, he was looking like, oh, Lord. But he wasn't even a small dude himself. He was like, SRO. I was like, I'm cool. Like, don't worry about that.
So when you walked onto the floor, did it sound like this?
No, for real. Like, it got quiet at that point in time.
Not really a referee.
Yeah.
Not really an athlete.
Wait, so that's crazy. So Pat Adams was doing a game in Cookeville, and he was in Lexington doing Kentucky,
Oh,
Kansas
God.
at the same time. That's crazy.
You know what?
That's so crazy.
When it's bad, it's bad.
Was Jerome Boger there too?
Yeah, see, I saw him. He was actually the ref on the opposite end.
Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
he opened the door for me.
Offsides on the defense. Anyway,
On the Mariners.
yeah, that's right.
That was the best.
First down,
Nothing
Mariners.
tops that.
Offsides. Anyway,
Yeah. Now Ron Slay's mad at me in the chat
yeah,
because
because
I
you
didn't call.
didn't. You said you were out here texting people.
I did.
Yeah, Slay was not getting a
He
text
was,
from you.
he was
apparently.
working though. He was working, so I couldn't text him.
And Auntie Aaron's right. Like between you and Zeus, you should just like drop them off on the corner.
I was gonna say.
Like,
You and Zeus-
like give
that's
them
where
their
Zeus is
bags,
getting it from.
drop them off on the corner, and
Sue
say
said,
peace.
Hey, bud, I know you got kicked out of a game. All right,
That's why he acted up.
I'm going to the house of a dad that didn't get kicked
Like
out
I
of the game
said,
this weekend.
Bad Boys. Theme song of the week here.
Oh my
It
goodness.
is. Oh, me oh my! Shout out to their principal there though, man. Cliff Matlock. He was super cool. We chopped it up the entire time I was in ISS.
Ramon Froster.
With his pink slip.
Yeah, that was not Ramon over the weekend. That was Raymond. That was Raymond Froster.
Man. I got
Definitely.
the boot, y'all. I apologize though, man.
Well, coming up next, question marks for the losing teams yesterday. I've got an opinion that is a good thing for Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy's status got a little bit higher in yesterday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll explain when we come back, plus the latest on DeMeco Ryans, the Houston Texans' pursuit of him, as we continue the NFL conversation. Coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone. Hey, it's Will Bowling here from my friends at League Company, telling you to put League Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. For less than $9 per month, you can sign up for the League Company home maintenance plan and receive 4 visits to your home every year by an experienced technician. Let the League Company professionals keep your cooling, heating, plumbing, and electrical systems in tip-top shape. Get the best players on your team today and learn more at leaguecompany.com or give them a call at 615-567-1000. I love League Company because they are the trusted provider here in Middle Tennessee for nearly 80 years. They're open 24/7. They're fast. They're efficient. And for less than $9 per month, you can sign up for the League Company home maintenance plan and get those 4 visits to your home every single year. They're online at leaguecompany.com. The phone number, once again, 615-567-1000. That's League Company, all you need. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors with Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, and Will Bowling. Jonathan Schaefer making the show happen on the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Coming up, I feel like Brock Purdy stock may be rising after yesterday's NFC Championship game in Philadelphia because Josh Johnson, the fourth quarterback to play for the 49ers this year, did not look as good as he looked in 2018 when the Washington team, I guess that's what we call them when it's a past Washington reference, pushed the Titans to the brink in 2018 in Nashville.
Yeah.
Didn't look very good.
Did not. That also kills the narrative, too, that anybody can work in the Shanahan system, I feel like. Because this is the thing. Josh Johnson had the opportunity during the week to actually prepare.
Right.
So, sucks.
We'll get to that, but first we get to your phone calls at 615-737-1045. Beginning with Rob in Nashville this morning. Hey, Rob.
Good morning, Rob.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Enjoying the show.
Thank you.
I just wanted to touch up on a few things here. I'm going to say this. These refs has got to be more accountable for what they're doing. Look at the Philadelphia game. It got to the point, got so bad where one of the players had to come out. He tried to come out and show him his camera.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah. Then you look at the Cincinnati game. You see how far that play had went on, not just that play. And then they got robbed to me, totally. They got robbed. Because if that play had stood, we probably would be talking about Cincinnati going to the Super Bowl game. Come on. And then, I'm listening to you guys now, and not just you guys on the show, this show, but, everybody want to get the refs a pass, because it's not enough. To me, if that's the problem, the refs can't see everything, why won't the NFL provide more refs?
Well, we're talking about high school when we say that. We're not talking about professional refs. Those guys get paid handsomely.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a
time.
shortage of NFL refs.
Well,
we're talking about
here's the thing.
high school officials that parents shouldn't
when they
be
butchering
rude
up
to.
the game like that, it's no excuse. Okay, either get some more refs in there, or get or get better refs. You got the cameras. People tired of all these excuses. Not just this, in politics, everything, racism. Everybody is keep on making all these excuses up, and nothing's being done. Everything being swept up under the carpet. Come on now. We got to do better than this. Everybody just keeps on giving the refs passes. It's people out here betting now. Let's be serious. Okay, when this money came involved with these betting, football, all the games of sports, let's face it. Something's not right out here. Sports used to be fun to look at. Not anymore. They've taken and they've robbed everyone of enjoying these sports on TV. We can look at plays and we know better than what we're looking at. And the refs know what's right and what's wrong. They can go back and look at these plays. They know. So it makes you wonder what is really happening out here.
Thank you for the call, Rob. We're not giving any excuses to any of the refs in Kansas City yesterday.
No. Well, of course, my eyes look a little bit different than who I was seeing in a sense as far as Cincinnati calls or non-calls. I thought the Mike Hilton play, I know a lot of people brought that up towards the latter part of the game. I thought the way you saw it, Mike did grab and pull before the ball got there. I did see that. So those calls could have went either way to me, though, Will, and some of them.
There was really no big call that determined this game.
No big call, no.
Yeah, like the play where the play was blown dead and nobody knew it until well after the play. The Chiefs got one first down and punted 3 plays later.
Yeah.
So
and then this too, like I legitimately thought that it was unnecessary to push Patrick Mahomes right there.
Yeah.
That was a human error mistake by Osai.
And the burden of proof for NFL refs is much higher, and we're not going to go after high school officials on this show because there is a shortage of high school officials, and that's the point we were making.
Yeah,
we're not giving NFL refs a pass at all.
No, NFL refs get these words, okay, because I can't get fined no more.
And Carl Cheffers, the crew that is doing the Super Bowl, his crew is the only 200 penalty crew in the NFL this year. 200 penalties called this year.
That's low, I'm guessing.
No, that's the
No,
highest.
that's high.
Highest?
For the 8th straight season, Carl Sheffer's crew had 200 penalties called.
Yeah.
And he was the only crew in the NFL with that many called this year.
Are
And
we
he got
saying-
the Super Bowl.
Are we saying that's correctly called?
No, we're not.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
And,
We're
and
saying-
that's the thing with the caller. I'm not saying that he's not right to say he's frustrated with some of the things that happen with
Yep.
that level of referees, and they are getting paid a lot of money. And we joke about Jerome Boger, but my goodness, it's pathetic sometimes. Like, you wonder, like, let's hold them to a higher standard, but then again, it's like there's not a lot of them out there.
That's very true. On the NFL, on the high school level, for sure, and all schools, like I see it, we see the same ones in and out every single weekend. I respect the job that they do because those crowds can get pretty wild. The human error aspect of officiating is something you can't underestimate at any single time. Like, guys see stuff they don't see. Like, that's a part of it too. And I'm not making excuses for it. It's just that, man, put your son or daughter out there in that position. See what they come home and tell you. You know, as far as officiating games.
Right. Let's go to Laura up next on the phone line, 615-737-1045. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning, Laura.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Ramon, you had me cracking up on the way to the hospital here. I'm here for an ultrasound, but I couldn't help but laugh. I got kicked out twice.
There we go.
High school game. My son was not a big. My son was a little. He was a point guard, and he got flattened more than once. And I'm sorry. I'm a mom. I'm at the top of the stands. I can't help it. Okay? I was calm. I didn't curse. I didn't come unglued. I'm just like, come on.
Yes.
There's got to be something. And they pointed and escorted me out. And the SRO, I'm 5'4". And the SRO, here he comes. I'm like, dude, I'm more than capable of getting out of this. But, hey, funny story, though. Years later, I'm working at a bank. This lady walks in. Hi, how you doing? How are you? And she says, I recognize your voice. You're the one that hollered from the top of the stands at basketball games. I went, oh, Lord. They remember. They remember. But good for you. You know, enough is enough. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
You get it, Laura. Look at me and you in ISS together now.
I get it.
Thank you for the call, Laura. We appreciate it.
Welcome. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
See, everybody, I'm telling you, if you feel like the time is right,
Yeah.
as long as you're not screaming all over the court and,
Like losing it.
losing it.
Ron said it perfectly. It's like when parents say, I was calm, that means they were overly ticked off. And I was, because I saw it brewing. I'm sure Cincinnati fans are ticked off this morning, too. You know?
That's scarier, though.
What?
Like when a parent thinks they're calm and it's just like the quiet, like, I told you.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's not just screaming. Like, I feel like the just loud yelling at a referee or yelling at anybody isn't as scary as just like the quiet, like, because when you're quiet and you're just staring into somebody's soul, you don't really know what that guy's capable of.
You probably thought it through already.
That's right.
And that's where, legitimately, that's where I was. It's like I had
what you were
already,
trying to
I
be.
was trying not to like be that way. And I thought of every circumstance. I was like, if I go out, I can't do that. That's
Right.
out. I can't show out in front of everybody in this gym. That's out. So let me just tell you where I'm at, because now I've really internalized this. Like, this is where I'm at, and this is on y'all. And that's all I had. I was, be cool.
Was the garbage can okay on the way out?
Yeah, the garbage can. I didn't kick anything.
Okay.
I didn't throw
Well, this one
Because
behind
this
us
one,
isn't.
this one behind
The one
us
in the studio, somebody
is
kicked. I don't know what
clearly
happened.
not okay.
I don't know who kicked it. Somebody had to
I don't
kick
either.
it.
Trashgate.
Trashgate.
And no, we're not talking about
Trashgate
Eli Apple last
2023.
night. We're not talking about Eli Apple.
Oh, he's
last
going to
night for the
Cancun right now.
Cincinnati
He's on
Bengals.
his way to Cancun.
Seamless transition. So maybe that. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do it that time. Let's go back to the phones. Let's go to Greg with us on the phone lines. Hey, Greg.
Hey guys, Ramon, I was at the.
I knew somebody was gonna call in.
Well, I was at the county game.
Oh.
I was at the county game.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have a little bit of defense for you there. You've got your son who's played an amazing game, battled really well, and he gets his fourth foul. And boys are boys. Like, as an official, you have to understand you're dealing with, like, even with high school students, middle school students, you're still dealing with a lot of testosterone, boys being boys. They tee him up really quick, and that's his fifth foul, and they knew that was his fifth foul. As an official, you hear coaches yelling out, I believe your coach over there, Lowry, was saying, hey, RJ, you got 4, or hey, you got 3. So officials know that. When officials interject themselves in the game to actually change the outcomes of the game, and that game was I can't speak to the game at Cookville, but I can speak to the game where RJ's the biggest kid on the floor. And that's one thing that you'll teach him, that he'll have to learn that, hey, all eyes are on him. But when officials use the power of the whistle to dictate a ball game, I think that's where we have an issue. Now, getting back, I don't know about football officials. I'm a basketball official. The pay is pretty decent. Middle school JV games, a high school JV game, we get paid $55 a game. So you get 2 games. It's a running clock. So the high school game's a little bit more intense. There's more crowd there. But at the same time, we are supposed to not listen to the crowd at all. We're supposed to, if we have an issue, we're supposed to go let the coaches know or let the game administrator know. I've seen too many officials interact with the crowd, turn around and look at them, smile at them, tell them they're wrong. I just believe there's got to be professionalism. And unfortunately, it is a hard job, but also, unfortunately, there is a shortage. So if you don't let people ref anymore, then we don't get to have games. There's such a shortage in football. That's why we had all the Thursday night games. Yeah. But I thought maybe your wife was going to get ejected at that county game, because she came out of the bleachers, and I was like, oh, please go sit back down.
Rightfully so on that one too.
Thank you for the call, Greg.
Appreciate that. That was interesting in itself, which is why we said we was going to be cool. Like, there was no chaos whatsoever, man.
Well, and that definitely starts at the college basketball level, where officials are like dancing around when they do a charge call. Like you've got certain guys that'll like blow their whistle 6 times and then tell you what the call is.
Yeah.
But that's just college basketball.
You're having way too much fun.
Do y'all have a problem with the umps behind the plate doing their little shindig too?
Nah.
Is that part of it?
A couple of them.
I mean, it's baseball. You got to have a little fun with that.
Thank you for saying that. I really, the 100%.
goodness.
Which is
I'm
Kayla
with
saying
you on
baseball's boring.
Well, but that's like one of my favorite sports.
Truth to
I was
that.
going to say.
So
Kayla and I are the
I guess I
baseball
like
people.
boring, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Oh, goodness. Anyway.
I just snorted.
Yeah, you did.
Shoot.
7:37.
Why has this morning been so cruel?
What do you mean it's been cruel? What's going on?
No, y'all know what happened.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
All right.
but-
I had blonde moments for days this morning.
Yeah, so you went back to get your computer charger, and then it was missing.
And I was going so fast. And give me credit, I made it here
You did make it here.
for the start of the show.
Yeah, you did.
I left the freaking thing that goes into the electrical outlet. I ripped it out so hard that it just stuck in there.
See,
So my charger,
That's
I
a
don't.
heartbreaker.
Come on, Kayla.
it's
Be
still
better.
in the wall. Still in the wall. We're going to get there, Kayla. We're going to get there.
I forgot my phone charger, so.
Be better.
I mean, that's
For a
easier
trip
to
to
buy than a
Mobile.
computer charger,
Well,
though.
but I have like the half phone, half watch charger for the Apple Watch.
Oof.
So I'm just
Apple
probably
needs
not
to
gonna
make
have a
it
watch.
easier on us folks because I got too many chargers.
Been telling you all that for a long time.
I'll be
I was watching a commercial yesterday. It was one of those Google phone commercials where like it's got the new flip phone. I
Yeah.
was sitting with my friends. I was like, that's crazy. This phone is so much nicer probably than our iPhones, but it has green tech, so I have zero interest in buying it.
I
That's
want to go
just-
back
that's
to like
tough.
the Motorola Razor. Okay.
I loved my Motorola Razor. It was
fact.
awesome.
That's what my brother and sister had Motorola Razors.
I remember using the BlackBerry too.
Yeah.
I had a BlackBerry.
Mm-hmm.
I had a Palm Pilot, too.
Didn't go with the Palm Pilot.
I had one of those.
Coming up next, the pending free agents, the offseason situations for the two teams who dive into the offseason yesterday. And the question about Brock Purdy, about if his stock rose a little bit yesterday with the way Josh Johnson played, and maybe he's not as big of a system quarterback as we originally thought. Mm-hmm. Plus another offensive coordinator opening as my twin is on the market.
Yes, he is.
So I'll tell you who that is in case you hadn't heard the news. Coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
Blah, blah, blah.
If you have a wet basement or crawl space, it's time to call United Structural Systems. We've all heard about these guys for a long time and for good reasons. They've served Middle Tennessee since 1994, and they've helped thousands of satisfied residential customers. They are the go-to company when it comes to foundation repair and waterproofing. And if you have a wet basement or crawl space, you don't have to put up with that. Water intrusion and moisture can give you all sorts of problems down the road, and you want to get this fixed. It could be because you have poor drainage or surface water flooding over the walls, or underwater pressure forcing water into your basement, or it could be a plumbing leak. You just don't know. But the team at United Structural Systems will find out why you have a wet basement or crawl space and will give you a plan to fix it. And if you decide to move forward, you don't have to pay a dime until the work is done and you are satisfied. So get that free estimate from the people I trust. Go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com, or call them at 615-227-2275. United Structural Systems.
Monday edition of Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, as Kellen Moore's tenure as the Cowboys' offensive coordinator has come to an end. This is the first step in getting fired 101 as a head football coach. Change who the play caller is and likely just make it yourself. So congratulations to Mike McCarthy on taking the first step towards being fired this time next year.
Yep.
Taking over play calling duties as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
I couldn't believe he got let go. I could not, man. Kellen Moore, I thought they had a really good season offensively. Their stat line says they did. I mean, what were they looking for? Was this scapegoat from McCarthy? Who's the guy behind him? Like, he's supposed to be the new young guy.
Well, if you ever wanted to see what it looked like for Derrick Henry to play center,
yeah,
Kellen Moore could just come be the Titans offensive coordinator.
Right?
You know what? I bet he'll never run that play again.
Can I go over some stats real quick on that? Because my good friend Jay Tust, go Cougs, Coug grad, he's up in Boise. He's covered Boise State for years up there. When Kellen was there, and he said this is what the points are since he was the offensive coordinator starting 2019, 27.1, 6th overall, 2020, 24.7, 17th overall, 2021, 31.2, first in the league, 2022, 27.5, 4th overall. All
pretty
points
good.
per game.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Do you want him here in Nashville?
Yes.
Well, I want him because he's Will's older twin brother.
Yeah,
That's so true.
absolutely.
I mean, I'm not trying to come out with you, Wes, but this might be his other
I know.
brother.
Yeah, Wes is my twin, 12 years apart.
Yeah.
but Kellen Moore is making a strong push
Yeah.
to be my brother from another
Look
mother.
him up if you haven't seen Kellen Moore.
I guess this is one of the best things about delaying the idea that you were going to hire somebody too. Is there was more firings from the playoff teams in a sense.
Yeah, Kellen and I are really excited about the opportunity to be in Nashville together. You know, I just feel like it's a good fit. You know, the quarterback element to it. He's done a good job there.
That's what I was thinking. Does this seem like a McCarthy call or a Jerry call? Because if I'm not mistaken, Kellen Moore came out last week and said he's declining all interviews for head coaching jobs. He screwed himself.
I feel like it's always Jerry because he knows that there would have been some sort of flack given if nothing was changed.
Do you feel like Jerry's a guy that's really pressing to get this other Super Bowl before his time?
He's always been.
It's just
always.
He got to step down.
Yeah.
That's just.
I just think as long as Jerry's there, they are not winning a Super Bowl.
This seemed like a bad move. It did.
Ian Rappaport said just about an hour ago on Good Morning Football that the Chargers have received permission to speak with Kellen Moore to be their new offensive coordinator.
Okay.
With the 49ers loss, he also adds that the path is now clear for the Texans to hire DeMeco Ryans as their head coach, which appears to be taking the next steps. I think the other team to look for with Kellen Moore, can the Panthers do what the Titans did in 2018 and bring in a guy to be their offensive coordinator who interviewed for the head coaching position? Because Kellen Moore 6 days ago interviewed with the Panthers for the head coach job. Wow. And Frank Reich got that gig on Friday. Does Frank Reich try to go to Kellen Moore to be his OC?
I would. I mean, just because he's known enough, and that team needs something offensively. What have they actually have? You have no weapons as far as guys you expect to make big plays for you at the quarterback position. Running back's gone right now. I know Deontay Hilliard? Dontrell Hilliard. He's there, but like, what else do you have, and what are you going to get out of that team offensively?
Are you talking about Foreman?
Deontay Foreman. He's there as a running back.
Yeah.
Hilliard's here. Yeah, you're right.
Whole bunch of those.
I mixed those up bad right there. But with that being said, they got to have something offensively. If I'm the Titans, I'm at least calling Kellen Moore, though. I have to.
I'd probably call him up. But do you think now that Matt Nagy is
Well, he's not available
still,
yet.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that they're just going to pass on that? I just feel like the longer you wait.
I think the sign we're getting, the longer this hire is not made for the Titans, the longer it goes, the more evidence we're getting that he really wants one of the two guys from the Chiefs to be a part of the process, Eric Bieniemy or Matt Nagy.
Whoa.
So you think that they're just kind of waiting?
Because I don't even think it comes down to one of those two guys getting the job.
Mm-hmm.
Every report we've heard and what Jeremy Fowler said with us 2 weeks ago is that Mike Vrabel is enamored with the Chiefs offense and at least wants to sit down with those guys and
Right.
get ideas.
And there hasn't even been anything out there leaked about interviews or, even with Tim Kelly.
Tim Kelly, we do know that the Titans interviewed.
But we don't know if there's anything detailed to it. Is there a second interview? There's
Right.
just not a lot
It's not.
out there. So you do wonder they really may be waiting for that.
Well, and you had the question of Charles London with the Falcons.
Yep.
But that's really all we've had is the request to interview him at this point.
You know what? I like Rabel's approach to this one right now.
Keeping it low-key.
Yeah, keeping it low key, number one, but also taking his time with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if one of these coaches do decide to leave after the Super Bowl, bang, you really got your guy. You at least have a spark in the offense. Like, knowing who you're getting yourself into as players, like knowing, man, we might have somebody coming from the Chiefs offense. Oh, it's going to be exciting for us. It raises the morale a little bit about what the future could be for you. Also, the creativity of what the Chiefs do at times. And yes, they have Patrick Mahomes, but you look at the way that offense efficiently moves up and down the field, you got to say that's what we've been missing, especially with getting Harold back next year and having more of your pieces stay here on defense. I'm excited if they do go that route. I like Vrabel's approach right now.
Do you think then they wait to hire the offensive line coach too?
I think if whoever the OC is, they
That's
bring
what
them
I'm
in
saying.
together. Yeah, they bring them in together. Because you got to think, those two positions have to be on the same page.
You mean collaboration?
They have to collaboration. There has to. That was a good word.
Take a shot.
There was that has to be a collaboration because I've seen coaches be hired with an OC and an O-line coach is still there, or it's not really their offensive line coach. They butt heads, and eventually one of those two dudes kind of leave. Especially if you got a strong-minded guy. And most offensive line coaches are boneheaded. Just being real with you, it's got to be his guy.
Yeah, we knew that the Charles London interview was scheduled, but not like the general manager interviews that took place. We don't get official confirmation from the team when offensive coordinator issues take place and when some of the open positions interviews are done. So I think we could expect to hear these things from Ian Rappaport, from Adam Schefter, and the big insiders when they become official. But until then, it's going to be pretty quiet from the Titans' perspective, that's for sure. Coming up next, hour number 3, halftime of the show already. And we transition to a big day in Thompson Bowling Arena on Saturday. The 4th-ranked Vols pick up a big win over Texas. We talk with Grant Ramey coming up at 8:20. Reset the headlines when we come back as the third quarter begins. Next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
All right, friends, I am now joined by another friend, Dean Glasscock of Arbor Art Tree and Shrub, your expert in trees and shrubs right here in Middle Tennessee. And Dean, I got a question for you this morning. How can we protect our ornamental trees and shrubs?
That's a great question. Good morning. Happy Monday, everybody. Yeah, I'm a certified arborist. I've been in business here 29 years, and we are the people to call for your trees and shrubs around your home. 299-9999. We'll come out. We'll give you a free assessment. We'll look around at your property. We'll let you know what's missing, what we can do to prevent the bugs and the pests this year. The pressure is going to be pretty heavy this year, I'm sure, and it just doesn't change. As the climate gets warmer and it freezes and changes like it does, you need to keep your trees and shrubs, which are your investment around your home, you need to keep them stress-free, and we can help you with that, definitely. We've got a great reputation, and I'm really proud of my people that I'm surrounded with, that we go out and serve. That's mainly what we do. We are in the tree and shrub business, but really we're in the people business, and we want to make sure we do everything right for you. So great reputation, great group of people working with us, techs that are we play by the rules. So give us a call, 615-299-9999. We want to serve you if we can. Thanks a lot. Have a good week.
That's right. He will make everything around your house look beautiful. That is the expert, Arbor Art Tree and Shrub. Check them out online at arborart.net or call them at 615-299-9999. That's Arbor Art Tree and Shrub.
It is 8:01. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are heading to Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 in Kansas City to capture the AFC Championship. Harrison Butker's 45-yard field goal with 3 seconds remaining lifted the Chiefs to their third Super Bowl appearance in 4 years and avenged their conference title game loss to the Bengals from the previous season.
Placement is down. Butker's kick is up. The spinning kick high, floating in the air, and it is good! Good!
Meanwhile, the Eagles routed the Niners 31-7 in Philadelphia. The Niners suffered injuries to both their quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson, which greatly affected their offense. Super Bowl 57 set for Sunday, February 12th in Glendale, Arizona, and can be heard on 104.5 The Zone. Kellen Moore out as offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Mike McCarthy says the team and Moore, quote, reached a mutual decision to part ways, end quote. And to the association, the Grizzlies defeated the Pacers 112-100. Ja Morant, a triple-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists. For our foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Into hour number 3. Welcome to Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, where UT picks up the win over UT Junior. The Super Bowl is set, and we head to the Senior Bowl at the conclusion of today's show. Lots to discuss and 2 more hours to do it. That's right. Alongside 11-year NFL veteran, Vol for Life, Ramon Foster, the journalist whose J is always capitalized. Just take that eraser on the backside of your pencil and erase the dot. And the best producer in the world, Jonathan Schaefer, making the show happen and whispering sweet nothings into our ear.
Oh.
The best producer in the world! Of the world, Craig. The world.
I'm Will Bowling.
Yeah, those nothings sometimes have 4 letters on them.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, there's a few of those words out there.
Big win for the Vols over the weekend. We talk with VolQuest's Grant Ramey coming up in 15 minutes. Tennessee has won 6 of its last 7 games against AP top 10 teams. Pretty good.
Pretty
Impressive.
good.
This was the Olivier Comwa game.
It was with the headband and cornrows,
Look
too.
at that.
Career high 27 points on 12 of 15 shooting to go with 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and a block. Zakai Ziegler, 22 points, 7 of 10 from the floor in 37 minutes. Guy is playing a lot of minutes now ever since that Mississippi State game where he played all 40.
It's like Barnes is making him being comfortable with being that guy more and more.
That's
like
right.
this was a step that was necessary for him and this team. I think I was listening to Savage and he was having a conversation, or was he in here with us? And he was just like, there's no one person that they can just go to all the time.
That was me who brought that up to Ron.
And then Dane Bradshaw brought this up too. It's like they don't have a 1-4 flat. And I was like, geez, teach me up a little bit. What's a 1-4 flat? Basically, one guy with the ball, everybody else watch him go to work. And it seems like that's where Zakai is kind of transitioning. I'll ask Savage tomorrow, and I asked him this weekend. While I didn't tell him I got in trouble, I was like, are my eyes deceiving me when it comes down to Zakai? Is he becoming or developing into NBA type guy? Like his ability to go through the lane and score, his ability to create, his ability to play bigger than what he is. 5'9". Have y'all stood beside him?
I haven't seen him in person, but I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, he's not big.
But 5'9" might even be a stretch in a sense, is what I'm saying. Like legitimately.
Right?
And I'm thinking, like, I know, like, it's a big guy's game in the NBA, but his ability to work angles and dish and create and facilitate and also score from the 3-point line now.
Yeah, you got to give that kid lot of credit.
Yeah.
Just development-wise, and maybe the staff as well. just being able to say, I'm not going to just be okay with coming off the bench.
Right.
Like, I want to be more than that.
Yeah, and you're seeing that too. And Barnes does a good job, man. These dudes be up by double-digit points, and he's still putting his foot off in them.
You got to do that.
I know, but golly.
I love every minute of it.
Yeah, I do too. And they say Barnes love him to crap like off the court. Like, you're not going to get more love from him. But on the court, I'd be like, man, Barnes, you're the truth with this trash talking and coaching, man.
Yeah, it was an impressive game, and I think it speaks to Zakai Ziegler's maturation into being the starting quarterback of that offense, really. But in a lot of ways, that is true. He is the quarterback of that offense, and he wanted to come off the bench this season. And Rick Barnes told him at the beginning of the year, you're a starting point guard, and he lost that job with how out of control he was against Colorado. It really felt like that Mississippi State game is going to be the turning point, not only for him, but just for this team in general.
Yeah.
When he had to play all 40 minutes with Tyreek Key and Santiago Vescovi hurt, it was like Rick Barnes just told him, look, you're going to sink or swim, and you're either going to figure this out or you're just not really going to be the guy for us until you do. And that was the game where he kind of put it all together.
And you like to see that response too, Will. You know what I'm saying? Like, the SEC has become a tougher tournament to play basketball in. I know the Big 12 gets most of the love, and ACC is known for it, you know, and the Big 10 too. But, like, the talent aspect of players and coaches and teams now has really stepped up a little bit. And for a guy like him and his stature to be, you know, making it happen for this team, if you were to say, well, who's the key to get this team started? It's more than likely him. Well, you know, with his energy he brings. And he got to bring that because he's not 6'8". Heck, he's not even 6'4". He's got to be able to bring that. And he does game in and game out. And I know there was rumors like he had some stuff going on during the week of the Mississippi State game. And he just got that corrected. And we're seeing a better him now.
And the biggest thing that you want to make sure to see from that, though, is let's not wear ourselves out completely.
This is true.
You know, Zakai, I'm sure, has been told, too, you got to be able to pace yourself, man, because there's a lot of basketball to be played, but the most important basketball to be played is going to be in the postseason.
The SEC tournament and the big tournament. So, really good win, though. Was it the only
win.
Big 12 SEC top 10 matchup? That was
It was the only ranked game in the country.
You were there. What was Texas fans? I asked you,
how
but I
was
didn't
it?
listen.
Environment, by the way.
I asked you, but I wasn't listening.
How was the environment? That's what I wanted to know.
It was great. It was night and day from what the Kentucky game was like.
Good.
It was louder. It was full about 45 minutes before the game started. The students are totally back on campus because for some reason now Tennessee students don't start school until January 23rd.
Okay, well, you're starting to sound like an old guy now.
I know. Back when I was a
16.
boy, I walked uphill both ways to class, so we did it in the beginning of January. I thought this game was just all about Olivier Kamwa, though, and his maturation and him logging 27 career high points in this game. His maturation and Zakai Ziegler both. We kind of use the same verb for both of those guys.
Yeah.
This team is so much better when both of those guys are at their best. Because Santiago Vescovi has had a little bit of a tough couple of weeks.
Yeah,
sure.
That shoulder injury he picked up again and kind of re-aggravated against Kentucky, I think is probably playing a little bit of a role. And we'll ask Grant Ramey that coming up in the next segment. But he was plus 18, had the best plus-minus rating of anybody on the floor for Vescovi. He's learning how to affect the game in other ways than just making threes, in other ways than just playing the point guard role. If you had told me that he would be a all-defensive player in the SEC for his senior year when he started in 2020, I would have laughed at you. He has gone such a long way from where he started on the defensive end when he got to Tennessee.
He has, man, and of course the attraction of his three-point shot is something that's gonna always be a danger to him. So it's good to see him being able to back that up on the back end too. But Biggs played big this past weekend against Texas, and it was real cool that UT beat University of Texas this weekend. That's gonna be something.
The real UT. You mean?
How y'all think
UT won on Saturday.
How you think that's gonna work in football moving forward whenever they officially come in? Is it a penalty for us?
I don't think so. I mean,
Not
that's
in
a
the
Big 12
SEC.
rule. It was a penalty to do the horns down. That was a
down.
Big 12 rule.
Sankey, if you're listening, if you ever think about regulating that, you will lose the conference.
Yeah, you
Okay?
can't regulate that, man. What? There's nothing bad about this.
No.
Give me a break.
It's just funny that everyone has like a venom for Texas. Like people that have nothing to do with Texas just hate Texas.
I mean, well,
'Cause they just think that they're always good. That they never. I mean, even Texas football has not been good in a while. I mean, it's a little better under Sark, but it's underachieved for years, and they still kind of just think like they're Texas.
It's because Texas doesn't think their gas smells.
You mean they're ish?
Mm-hmm.
Their gas.
Ish.
Perfect.
Ish.
but I've always told y'all the Texas players I played with, they were just different. The country of Texas is just different.
Aside from
man.
Big Snack. Big Snack was the only normal one.
Yeah, aside from Casey Hampton. Like, most of them just got a quirk about them. Be like, yeah, you did go to Texas. And you're from Texas? Oh, okay, yep.
And that
summed it up.
orange is ugly.
Thank you for saying I didn't even have to say that. This
And Michael Griffin was okay down here.
Mike Griffin
And
was
Amard
cool.
Hall and Sarge. They were cool.
Okay.
Well, the individuals can be okay. I'm not going to group every individual, but I'm just saying as a whole.
The ones that I was around, except for Big Hamp, had some. It was just different. It was just different. I'll just leave it at that. And they probably tell you this too. So everything's different in Texas.
So one of my friends from here that I ran with ran track at Texas for his freshman season and transferred after 1 year because he didn't like it. And I remember the day that he texted me of like, this place ain't right, was at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Nobody was standing in the air holding up four fingers and holding up like the fours.
Yeah.
He was like, Will, they don't even put four fingers in the air after the third quarter here. These people ain't right.
Really?
He's like, I'm out.
And also, he told me, too, that the environment at Texas games was more just about the tailgate and just socializing and just, like, hanging out with people. And nobody at those games cared about the game.
Which is kind of bizarre because you almost think the opposite because of just the high school landscape of football.
Did they
get nuts?
I know.
It's crazy.
Did they get boat race in the bowl game, too? Texas? I know Sark
Who
went
did they
off.
play? I can't remember. I can't even remember who they played.
They did lose.
They did lose.
Yeah, Sark lost his mind.
Lost his noodle.
He, by the way,
Yeah.
can get a little testy.
Oh, they lost to Washington.
That's right.
27-20.
Yeah.
What a
Well,
shame.
basically, what I was saying is I was walking
his
out of the
former
building.
team.
I was leaving Thompson Bowling
No wonder why
Arena.
he was
It's the last time I was there, Tennessee lost.
Yeah.
And I was leaving and just said, we're back. Hey, coming up next, Grant Ramey will join us and share his thoughts on Tennessee's win over Texas. What impressed him the most, and how much better does a good Olivier Kamwa make this Tennessee team? Grant Ramey of VolQuest on the other side. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
It's Ramon Foster for Secure Lawn. And listen to me, I know who you are because it's me. You're the ones who walk around in the yard every day getting mad when you see weeds. You obsessively care about your grass. Your spouses and friends tell you that you talk about your grass more than anything. You want to be the envy of your neighbors. Listen, I'm talking to you and I'm talking to me too, and I got the people for you. They are Secure Lawn. And right now is the time to start applying crabgrass and broadleaf weed control to your lawn, and they are the best people to call. Their number is 615-893-8455, and I'll tell you again soon too. And this is the thing, if you need your trees trimmed or shrubs planted or cutting grass, that's not the people to call. They're there to make sure that your grass is healthy, full, luscious, thick, and green during the entire summer. It's family owned and operated and local, and I promise you, you won't meet a better group. Everything that Secure Lawn uses pet, kid, and environmentally friendly, so you don't have to worry about those dangerous chemicals hurting your families again. So go ahead and get the head start on your yard and call Secure Lawn at 615-893-8455 or go to securelawn.com.
Fourth-ranked Tennessee Volunteers are going to beat the 10th-ranked Texas Longhorns as the Volunteers stampede the Longhorns right out of Thompson-Boling Arena. Final score, Tennessee beats Texas 82-71.
Big win for Tennessee over the Texas Longhorns, one of 3 SEC teams to beat a Big 12 team over the weekend. On a crazy day in college basketball, the SEC Big 12 Challenge. We are Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors with Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson. I'm Will Bowling. As we go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline and check in with our friend Grant Ramey of volquest.com. Good morning, Grant. How are you?
Good morning. I'm wonderful. How are y'all doing?
Good morning.
We're great, and impressive win for Tennessee. A lot better than 2 weeks ago against Kentucky on the last Saturday in Thompson-Boling Arena. What impressed you the most about this win?
Oh, boy. I don't know where to start. Olivier Kamwa, looking like a man possessed, playing the best basketball we've seen him play his entire career. Zakai Ziegler just continuing the absurd January he had. I think he had 68 assists in 8 games in January. He had 3 double-doubles. So for Olivier to score 27, for Zakai to score 22, and just kind of the way they handled their business. I mean, it was loud in there early on, and they needed that. They needed that kind of performance because they kind of fell on their face against Kentucky a couple weeks ago when they had that other big home game and that chance to kind of make a statement. So I think they got humbled a little bit against Kentucky, and they wanted to have a little bit more pride, play with a little bit more pride. They came out like a team with like an edge, an attitude. Some of the stuff they were doing on the floor, it just looked like they were a little bit pissed off and ready to go, and they played like it.
And it seemed like a positive, too, that Zakai Ziegler and Olivier Kamwa both had such disappointing efforts against Kentucky that those two guys kind of leading the way is a big development for this team. How much better does a good Olivier Kamwa make this Tennessee team?
It's a completely different team when he's productive, when he's that productive. I mean, he's not going to give you 27 and 8 every single night and go 12 for 15 from the floor like he did against Texas Saturday night, but when he is productive, it just completely changes his basketball team because they're good in the post, even if he's not producing a ton. But if he is, it just takes them to a different level. And when it's him and Zakai specifically, when they're working the pick and roll and they're playing a little two-man game, I mean, the stuff they were doing, the passes that Zakai was getting to Olivier, entry passes and stuff, driving and just dumping it off to Olivier, or even, running a pick and roll and they kind of collapse on Olivier and Zakai is able to just kind of change speeds and get to the rim himself. When it's that two-man game, when those two are clicking, that's a really, really good basketball team.
Grant, how good is it to have your team be one of the 3 teams that won in this Big 12 SEC showdown? Because that's the biggest conversation right there is the SEC got to start competing with those other, conferences when it comes down to winning a national championship. Tennessee did that and did it well this weekend.
Tennessee really needed to handle its business, especially after Alabama went to Oklahoma, and I'm still not sure how Oklahoma played that well and how Alabama played that poorly to lead Alabama, a really good basketball team, to lose a game by 30 points. But yeah, Tennessee needed that. The SEC needed that. It was a rough day for the SEC as a whole, but for Tennessee to, a top 10 matchup, that was only the 3rd top 10 matchup in Knoxville since 1981. There's another one in 2019 between Tennessee and Kentucky, and there's another one in 81, LSU and Tennessee. So that was a big deal, a very kind of, a rare kind of game in Knoxville and Thompson-Boling Arena. It felt a little bit different because the Big 12 Challenge is ending next season, and it's going to be replaced with an ACC-SEC Challenge. But then again, Texas and Oklahoma are coming into league in a couple of years anyway, so it's going to be like a normal conference game down the road. So it had a different feeling to it, almost like a little bit of an SEC preview for when Texas gets here. But the last 2 games that Tennessee had against Texas last season in Austin, this year in Knoxville, if those games are anything like that moving forward, it's going to be a lot of fun having them in the league.
Would it be in the ACC and we have the potential to play Clemson? Will they post a score if we beat them? Because they've yet to do that since the Orange Bowl.
I did not realize they had yet to post the final score. I feel sorry for the social media teams. Get to have a lot of fun, but at some point you got to post a final score. I mean, you got to own up to it. Everybody knows what happened.
No doubt. On a serious note, though, we were speaking before you came on about Zakai, man. His development, almost as if Barnes had to sit down with him and told him, hey, look, you're going to do this. And it seems like now he's gotten comfortable with playing this many minutes and being that guy. 22 points this weekend from a guy that wanted to come off the bench, man. What do you say to his progression throughout this season?
I don't know if Zakai's the best point guard in college basketball, but he's in that conversation. What I do know is he's the perfect point guard for this Tennessee basketball team because he's got that attitude, he's got that toughness. It feels like he's a senior, and he's been here for a year and a half.
Yeah.
That's how much he's played. That's how many big moments he's been in. The personality that this team has kind of adopted, I think, starts with him. And it's the production, too. I mean, in January, he averaged 12 points, 8.5 assists, 3 rebounds, 2.3 steals. He leads the SEC in assists. He's second in steals. He does it on both ends of the floor. He'll play 37, 40 minutes a night, whatever you need him to do. If he never has to come off the floor, he's never going to come off the floor. And for him to do it on both ends, for him to be a pest on defense, for him to be a pest on offense, what this team has done, I think, responding from that Kentucky loss 2 weeks ago, I think it starts with Zakai Zeigler. I think he sets the tone. I think he provides the attitude on this team. He provides the toughness. And, man, nobody works a crowd like Zakai. In those big moments, Thompson Bowling Arena, when they hit a big shot or he's hustling to get a loose ball and then draws a foul, and he's celebrating on the floor. The arena feeds off of him. I think for sure his teammates feed off him as well.
Yep.
You had mentioned just learning from that loss against Kentucky, since then winning 4 straight. Obviously, this Texas one. But if you're looking at this team right now and you're saying, okay, there's still a ways to go in the SEC, and then you got the SEC tournament, what do you want to see improve with this group and just continue to try to keep elevating? Because we know when it comes down to it, the postseason's the biggest time.
For sure. I mean, you need to see consistency. Olivier's a guy earlier in January, first couple SEC games, he played really well. Then he disappeared for a couple weeks, and obviously he came back with a huge game against Texas. But they're going to need to see that a little bit more consistently from him down the line, knowing what you're going to get night in and night out. Offensively, obviously everybody's going to talk about the offense with this team because you don't have any questions about the defense. It's going to be elite. They're going to put up great numbers on the defensive end. What are they going to do offensively from night to night? And what they have coming up is a pretty backloaded schedule with Auburn and Alabama, and they got to go to Florida Wednesday. That's going to be a tough game, even though Florida's not that great. You're still going to Gainesville. You're still going on the road. So they got a lot of tests here leading into March, and they got Texas A&M, they got Missouri, teams like that have been tough outs in the SEC so far. So they're going to have to still prove a lot. They've proven something so far, but they got a long ways to go. Offensively, consistency, stuff like that, and they got a tough schedule. They're going to be tested heading into March.
We kind of spoke about this last week on the show and was asking Ron Slay about it, but do you see this team as a benefit having maybe not that dominant player every single game in and game out, just a lot of guys that can contribute offensively?
Yeah, I think so because, I mean, if you're trying to stop this team, it's hard to pick one guy and go at him and think that that's going to help you win a basketball game. I mean, you can take Santi off the three-point line. That's going to help you win a basketball game, but Josiah can score it as well as Zakai can score it. Olivier can score it. I mean, there's a ton of balance. The only downside to that balance is in a really tough moment when you need somebody to go get a bucket, who are you getting the ball to go get the bucket? So it's a double-edged sword a bit because it's a balanced attack, and it's hard to stop that because you got to pick your poison. But then also when Tennessee in crunch time needs a bucket, they're going to have to develop that guy that can go get it. Now, Josiah's played really well the last couple of weeks. He's played with a ton of confidence. Maybe it's that guy going forward, or maybe it's Zakai, or maybe it's Olivier now. If the light bulb is turned on for him, then maybe it's him down the stretch. But I think it's a little bit of both. It can be a blessing, and sometimes it can be a curse.
Grant Ramey of VolQuest and On3 with us this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Grant, when you look at Julian Phillips and his role on this team, it seems like Tennessee the past few years have had 5 stars who have still taken that risk and stuck with their plan and gone one and done when they may have benefited from that 1 or 2 more years like Josiah Jordan-James really has. Do you feel like there's a scenario, I know we're looking down the road here a bit, where Julian Phillips isn't just the one and done that we maybe thought he would be with another 4-point game on Saturday?
I mean, I think it's a possibility. I don't think I would say it's likely at this point. It's all going to be about feedback for him in the pre-NBA draft process. And his upside is so high. I mean, when you stand next to this dude, it looks like he was made in a basketball robot facility, like he was born to play this game. And his numbers haven't been there, but the way he rebounds, the way he does other stuff, he affects the game. He's really good defensively for a freshman. The length, the athleticism that he has. I mean, his upside is through the roof, especially in the NBA. It's a wings game these days, especially in the NBA. and for him to be built like the prototypical wing and to be as athletic as he is. And he can do a lot more than what he's shown because he is a freshman. He is playing with a bunch of, older guys around him that do carry the load. So I think it's all going to be about feedback. If he gets a first-round promise, if he gets a first-round guarantee from a team, he's probably gone. But it's going to be about what kind of feedback he gets, because you don't want to go into the draft and risk it like Kennedy Chandler did and slip to the second round. Now, that probably worked out for Kennedy because he got a 4-year rookie deal and he's in Memphis, and it seems like the best way that situation could have unfolded once he slipped to the second round. But it's all about, are you comfortable going in there without a promise that you're going to go in the first round, you might slide, or do you need that guarantee from somebody?
Grant, with Santiago Vescovi, another kind of quiet game for him, do you feel like there's cause for concern with the shoulder issue for him on the offensive end? Is that still bothering him on that side? Because I know he led the team in plus minus, but just seems like the offensive end of the floor hasn't really clicked for him since that Kentucky game.
No, I think at LSU it was more about sickness, and he was under the weather, and that bug that was going through the team for the last couple of weeks was that had taken its toll on him. I think more so the last week or so, I think it's just other guys have been going off a little bit more, and he's been able to kind of slip back and not have to carry the load. I think that I don't know that the shoulder's bothering him. I don't know his percentages aren't quite as bad as they were in December when he first hurt that shoulder and came back from it. So maybe it's illness, or maybe it's just a little bit of other guys are doing so much that he hasn't had to do so much. But Santi's a guy that if he's out there, he's probably healthy enough to be out there, because if he wasn't, he wouldn't be putting himself in a bad position. But I think that's a guy you still trust moving forward, even if he does have a couple quiet nights.
I'm a clear homer when it comes to the Vols, so I just want to preface that out there anyway, okay? But watching game day be there for 3 major sports and watching the football team and hype will be, celebrated on the court. How cool of the environment is it now on Rocket Top? Is this the biggest you've seen it in a while?
Listen, I started covering Tennessee football in 2012. Last year, the Derek Dooley era was the first full-time year for me being around this stuff. So the things I've seen in the last 10 years, the absolute carnage at times that I've seen the last 10 years has made the last, couple of years now, since Heupel got here, since Tony Vitello got here, what Rick's done with basketball the last couple of years, and to see it elevate the way it has just this year alone, like you're talking about with game day being here 3 times with a couple teams ranked number 1 in football and baseball, and a basketball team that's top 5. It's been a while since not only Tennessee has been this good in any of these sports, but to be this good or to be this highly ranked and this relevant in all 3 of those sports, it's definitely a special time. It's fun to be around.
Yeah, Grant, your first year was that last Dooley season. My only year covering Tennessee football was the 4-8 season. So I think I also had the same effect in my early days.
For
up
real.
there.
Grant, what was that Dooley era like? I've heard it from the player side.
Oh, God.
I just needed to hear from your side of it, too. And I'm not even trying to dunk on Dooley or Pruitt, but I just need to know, what was it actually like? Because I was away.
It was crazy. It was a little bit surreal at times, just kind of everything that was happening around the program and around the team. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was, an idiot. I'm still an idiot, but now I'm just an older idiot, more experienced idiot. It was just, he took the team to Elizabethton for fall camp. That was almost like a NFL training camp or something. That was an experience. We were talking to Cordero Patterson every other day, and I don't know, it was crazy. They were going to score 42 points and give up 45. They had a game in November against Troy where it was like, I can't remember what the final score was, but it was a really high-scoring game. It might have gone to overtime, I can't remember. But Dooley sat down for his post-game press conference. They barely won the game, and there was like 1,500 total yards of offense between the 2 teams, and he just looks at the box score when he sits down. And he goes, 1,500 total yards of offense. Am I seeing this right? And then he pauses, and he just goes, Jesus. Like, that was like the season in a nutshell right there. Like, they're going to put up a ton of yards, but it's going to be crazy. Crazy.
At least you got good use of the orange pants there.
Yeah, you did.
That's true. Grant, on the way out, as our resident Chicago Bears expert, would you, during smokescreen season of no one knowing what actually is true or false within the NFL draft, would you like to put any smokescreens into the air about what your Chicago Bears are doing with the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah, I think they're going to keep it. I think they're going to draft the best player available. Maybe they'll just take a quarterback. Maybe they'll take a couple quarterbacks. Maybe they'll trade their later picks in the draft to get up to number 2, so they'll have the first back-to-back picks and take quarterbacks. And, I don't know. Whatever they got to do, drive the price up, get rid of this pick. As a Bears fan, though, I'm just happy to see Matt Nagy get to a Super Bowl like he deserves. I knew he was going to get to a Super Bowl by 2023. I'm just glad to see it happen.
Well, Grant, you do know that he is being strongly linked to the Titans' offensive coordinator job. There's a scenario now where you share a state with Matt Nagy.
Uh-oh.
Well, if that's the case, me and Titans fans are going to have to share a lot of therapy sessions.
There he is.
Listen to Grant.
Grant Ramey has been our guest this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will. Calling himself an idiot instead of calling Mike Wilson an idiot. Because I guess, Grant, you only give Mike compliments on this show. So.
Well, that just goes without saying. I mean, I don't have to tell people he's an idiot. He proves it every day.
Perfect. Grant, thank you.
See y'all.
Thanks, Grant.
There's Grant Ramey with us this morning on the show. I tweeted that out from the show account at Ramon Kayla Will and said, quote, "I'm still an idiot. Now I'm just an older idiot."
Yeah.
Out of context, Grant Ramey. Now I'll have to respond to myself and say, I don't have to tell people that Mike is. He just shows it every
He just
day.
owns it.
He owns it. Hey, knowing yourself is best.
Mm-hmm.
Or he knows himself well. That's interesting. I always like to hear people's perspective on Dooley, that era, because I heard so much, and I just hearing different people's like conversation. It all lines up to be the exact same thing. Like that. That's tough. He said we were going to score 42 points and give up 45.
Those were dark times.
I hear it in your voice.
Once your playing days got over, those were dark times.
I see now.
When
Gosh.
Kentucky ended the 26-game winning streak against our losing streak for them against Tennessee, and Randy Sanders after the game held up one sheet of paper and said this was our play sheet today.
I know.
And it was like 5 plays on a sheet of notebook paper.
I hate it here.
Bad times. 615-737-1045. For anyone that tells us to pipe down, that's what I respond with.
We were not.
That's right. Coming up next, Tennessee extends another streak that I think is now its most impressive in Thompson Bowling Arena. They no longer have the home winning streak. They've done something that's even more impressive, though, over the last 4 seasons. That's coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
If you want to be a real hero this Valentine's Day, you got to go to Genesis Diamonds. Genesis makes it easy with the Total Romance Package. Yes, it's the jewelry, the flowers, the candy, and the dinner. All the key ingredients for a memorable Valentine's celebration. And here's how it works. When you buy any piece of jewelry for just $99 or more, Genesis will give you a bouquet of flowers from Jenny's Flowers and a gift card towards dinner at STK Steakhouse. Yes, it's pretty good. I know that one. Genesis specializes in romance. They have the lasting and timeless gifts that reflect and celebrate your love. This year, they've pulled together some wonderful Valentine's gift ideas: rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, affordable quality gifts that will be a hit. And of course, if you're getting engaged this Valentine's, Genesis can create the ring of her dreams with their dazzling GIA diamonds and designer mounting. Unlimited possibilities also. Bring the sparkle and the romance with one-stop shopping at Genesis. Spend just $99 or more and get the flowers, the chocolate, and the gift card for dinner free. Happy Valentine's Day from Genesis Diamonds in Green Hills and Cool Springs. Also, limited quantities, and see store for details.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I just want to thank God, man.
Woo! Burrowhead, my woo! It's Mahomes' house.
There's a happy Travis Kelce after the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Cincinnati Bengals. They head to the Super Bowl to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. We talk much more NFL coming up in hour 4. Taking your phone calls at 615-737-1045. Travis Kelce or Ric Flair, you pick.
Woo!
I'm going with Kelce on this.
I'm going with Flair.
Got both. Hold on.
Whoa, it's pretty close.
Oh, give me Rick. Rick was
Rick's still flawless.
Yep, that was Rick.
Ric Flair had a weird tweet yesterday.
Was that real?
That could be said any day of the week.
Yeah, wait, is this breaking news by any means?
Ric Flair said, at Brock Purdy, I crashed in an airplane. Get in the game. What in the world?
He survived a plane crash.
He did.
Yeah.
So he's like, yo.
He survived a plane crash very early in his career and went on to keep wrestling for another like a million years.
I get that. But
Right.
why is that relevant to Brock Purdy's funny bone getting hit in a football game?
The shoulder.
Yeah, because he was saying, Brock, hey, I survived a plane crash.
Yeah.
Why can't you survive this?
Get in there, play some ball.
Once again, it's like the graph of dots everywhere that just no correlation. This is why Jonathan Schaefer is the best producer of the world.
Yeah, 100%.
By
Thank
the
you for
way-
talking in the middle of that. Where he couldn't save it.
By the way, Travis
I already have one of you saying that, by the way.
was cracking me up doing the Kermit voice. I mean, it was hilarious. And then he came on and said exactly what he said in the post game.
Yeah.
What do you mean, the
was
Kermit
so
the Frog?
funny.
What are you talking about?
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Oh, yeah?
Mahomes is Kermit.
Hi ho, Patrick Mahomes here.
Oh, my gosh. Whoa. That's really good.
Real good. That's too good.
Kermit's
Shay.
probably the best impression I can do.
Wow.
Hi ho.
I had no idea you had this talent.
Shafe, do we need to have Kermit the Frog and Charles Davis call a football game at some point?
Please.
Oh my
I would love
gosh.
that.
If we got Nickelodeon, we
Yeah,
can get
let's do that.
Hey, I tell you what, okay? Hey, these Cincinnati Bengals, hey, okay, they're going to be just fine. Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, I tell you what, all right? They got a bright future up there in Cincinnati, all right?
Touchdown, Kansas City.
I just like to think about the week. Oh, my goodness.
I love it. All I have is my voice.
615-737-1045. Kermit the Frog. Lucas, call Kermit. Kermit the Frog up next on the Buck Rising Show, 1045 The Zone. Anyway, Tennessee has won another game against the top 10 team.
Moving on.
It's Groundhog Day. With Saturday's win, UT, the good one, the real one, 1794, has now won 5 straight home games against top 10 opponents. 5 straight home games against top 10 opponents.
I love your hate for other teams. It's so beautiful, man.
The first of which is a game that I still am sick from because I camped out the night before to go to the 2019 Tennessee-Kentucky game.
You camped out?
I got a tent, a generator.
It's like
I
what
brought a
Duke
little
does.
TV and an Xbox.
Get out of here.
Yeah, have I never told you this story?
No, what time did you go out there?
4 p.m. the day before
Oh.
for a noon tip-off.
Were you stinky?
No, it wasn't too bad.
Wasn't too
The
bad.
girl
It's
I was
college.
dating at the time pulled up to the arena and
So?
I put all the stuff in her car.
Yeah.
Just went and got it later.
That's what's up, man. So do like people like
They don't anymore.
Are they aggressive? Were they aggressive? Like you getting to that spot?
Yes.
They
Well, even when we
are?
got in. So at that point, you could buy a wristband for $10 to be a part of the Rocky Top Rowdies.
Yeah.
And you would get 30 minutes early access to get your ticket, to go to get your seat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I bought a wristband while I was camping. I think I actually got the last one.
Did you really?
And we were on the second row. We still weren't on the front row. We were on the second row. And we camped out at 4 p.m. the day before.
You still with that girl?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
So the other question I have for you too is, what about when you get in line? Is that just a single person line? It's only room for one, or do you have that group? Hey, you get in line for us and we'll meet you there. Did you see
I
them
did
people?
do that. Well, that was my trade-off to my girlfriend at the time, bringing her car so I could put the stuff in her car.
I'm surprised.
Was she would then get to be in the line with me.
I'm surprised.
My turn.
Yeah, for real. I'm surprised you didn't get punched. I'd have been hot at you.
Well, there was
for
a
that.
food fight outside before that game.
Like a real one?
Because my freshman year roommate had a donut because she brought us all donuts when she came to pick up all our stuff. And so one of my roommates ate half of it and then threw the other half in the air. And then about 5 minutes later, people were throwing food back and forth for 30 minutes.
Oh my!
It was not great.
You did a lot of college things. I never did.
Well, you played. Well,
I know,
mean,
but I still
we
feel
always hear Will's got stories for days in his college years.
I really didn't though. Like it was only really the last 2 years because I was running the first two, and then I like rushed and like did that whole thing the last 2.5 years, I guess. But I don't know.
I can't share my stories, so sorry, folks.
All right.
You can.
I'm kind of a little more like PG-13 probably up in here.
Is there a statute of limitations we got to worry about?
Probably.
Cases pending out here.
Cases pending.
Hey, if Zeus can beat the charge, so
For
can you.
real.
I know.
No, I don't get. He's a pet though. Pets get some leeway. They're so cute and cuddly. Like pets.
He was guilty
Pets,
Sunday.
You showed
hear
it.
me?
You sent us, what was that, a GIF
Yeah.
of Zeus? And I was just like, we can adopt him. Here, send him over to us.
He's up, Kayla. Like, legitimately, he needs a break from us to realize how good he's got it. You understand
between
me?
Will and I, we'll trade off in terms of taking care
And
of
you know
Zeus.
what's crazy? He run right into y'all arms, too. That's
He
what
would.
type of joker he is now. I can't believe he's acting like, who becomes 8 years
Hey,
old?
Zeus, if you're listening,
act
we've
like
got an
this?
open home for you.
Perfect.
Come right in.
Wolf twice if you can hear us. 615-737-1045. We'll take your phone calls coming up next. And take a look at a couple of players that we're most excited to see at the Senior Bowl. And I've got two in particular who are off the radar names that could be interesting prospects for us to speak to over the next 3 days down in Mobile. Four's up around Middle Tennessee for the fourth quarter of the Monday edition. Coming up next, Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
Meow.
9 o'clock. Good morning. I'm Jonathan Schaefer from the Superbook.com sports desk. The Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles are heading to Super Bowl 57. The Chiefs defeated the Bengals 23-20 in Kansas City to capture the AFC title.
Placement is down. Butker's kick is up. The spinning kick high, floating in the air, and it is good! Good!
Harrison Butker's 45-yard field goal with 3 seconds remaining lifted the Chiefs to their third Super Bowl appearance in 4 years and avenged their conference title game loss to the Bengals the previous season. Meanwhile, the Eagles routed the San Francisco 49ers 31-7 in Philadelphia. The Niners suffered injuries to both their quarterbacks, Brock Purdy and Josh Johnson, during the game. Super Bowl 57, Sunday, February 12th in Glendale, Arizona. You can hear the game on 104.5 The Zone. Kellen Moore, or as we call him, Will Bowling's twin, is out as offensive coordinator of the Dallas Cowboys. Coach Mike McCarthy says the team and Moore, quote, reached a mutual decision to part ways, end quote. Grizzlies defeated the Pacers 112-100 yesterday. Ja Morant, a triple-double, 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 15 assists. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Into our number 4. Good morning and welcome to Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. Our final day until Friday inside this studio here at 104.5 The Zone. We are headed to Mobile right after the show today, where it is Senior Bowl time at last. The draft starts in Mobile, and we will be there Tuesday through Thursday this week, talking to a number of players. A couple of them will give you the first scouting report on coming up here in just a couple of minutes. And Joshua Perry, a former Senior Bowl linebacker.
Yes.
And former Ohio State Buckeye, also joins us as well coming up in 15 minutes. With Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, Jonathan Schaefer, our producer. I'm Will Bowling.
I much rather that one sometimes, too. That's good.
We can mix them up now.
What's wrong with the other one?
Nah, that one right there just let you know you the man when you do the woo. That means you had a big play. You've probably crushed beers at the bar, or something's happened. Or you just that guy.
I drink my beers.
There we go.
See?
Double whammy.
Don't it work?
Best
with
producer
everything
in the world. That's right. We go to the phone lines at 615-737-1045. Jason is in Nashville. First up as we begin hour 4 this morning. Hey, Jason.
Hey, man, thanks for taking my call, man. I don't know, man. As a Niners fan, I'm living in a nightmare right now. Like, it's almost like I'm ready to just go back to sleep and start over, hoping that this story would produce something else, because it's almost like watching a great movie and it just has a stupid ending. It didn't make sense to me at all. Like, no chance to be toe-to-toe with Philadelphia. I don't mind losing. You don't mind going home. You understand. But it's just like you're not even given a chance. It's like a quarterback plague. And as I'm watching these two quarterbacks go down, I'm sitting there watching Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo over there basically eating popcorn on the sideline, laughing it up. You know, it's just, I cannot believe what I witnessed yesterday. It just don't make sense to me how that played out like that. I mean, and then I know that next season we're going to lose a lot of players, because here comes Mr. Salary Cap busting your team up, and I knew that we had to do it this year. So I can't believe the way that ended. I mean, it's sickening to my stomach to see something like that. But just wanted to vent that out. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you, Jason.
I
we
get it.
appreciate that, dog.
I mean, that's the thing I was saying earlier. The quarterback luck has been atrocious.
It has. I mean,
You can't do anything about it.
There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. And you look at that and you say to yourself, Hassan Reddick was a menace. He caused that to happen to Brock Purdy. It wasn't like, this was like a hit that did it.
And it was a similar hit on Johnson.
It was. I'll ask y'all this, hearing Jason speak right there. Like, hearing his letdown, and San Francisco's been in it the last couple. Would you rather your team be on the doorstep like this and get heartbroken, or at least have an opportunity, or would you rather you just be not make the playoffs, a first round out?
I don't know. I feel like I'd rather be on the doorstep.
You
rather
always
be
got
knocking?
it. You always want to go as far as you can go.
Yeah.
And I know that maybe hurts in the long run more when this kind of thing happens.
Yeah.
But it's better than being not in the postseason at all.
I'm with you. Okay.
Everybody hurt.
I really do.
And you laugh. That's the best part.
Niners pending free agents include Jimmy Ward, Jimmy Garoppolo, Samson Ebukam, Emmanuel Mosley, go Vols, Mike McGlinchey, guard, right tackle as well, Charles Omenihu, the edge rusher, and Juwan Jennings.
Juan is exclusive free
Juwan
agent, though.
Jennings.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, so they'll sign him back to a tender.
Niners have $13.8 million of cap space and the number 30 overall pick.
Jeez.
They got options.
They got options, 100%.
We go to Danny in the Borough up next. 615-737-1045. Good morning, Danny.
Morning, Danny.
Good morning, fam. How we doing?
What's
we doing
up?
today?
We're good. Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good morning to you. I'm doing all right. Listen, teams lose games.
Yeah.
That was a heartbreaker last night, but I'm not going to pull a Caples and cry on the radio about it. I think it was one of the better football games I've seen in a while, man. I mean, it was fantastic to watch. Huge tip of the cap to both coaches and coordinators on all sides. I mean, the adjustments made in that game were impressive, to say the least. And you got to just give it up to Patrick Mahomes at the end of the day. That kid came out with a bum ankle, and he played at an all-star level against a very good defense and a damn good offense, and he did what he had to do. So, listen, Bengals had a great season, a great run. I'm proud of them. Houday all the way. I'm not going to change that. And listen, there's 2 more years with this core together. The window's not closing. They're probably going to lose. Jesse Bates, I think, is probably a goner.
Yeah.
Jermaine Pratt, unfortunately, is probably going to be gone as well. So they'll lose some guys on the defense, but the money's there to keep the offensive structure and the core together there. Maybe Sans Hayden Hurst will probably try and go rookie in the tight end spot and not spend that money on a vet. But the Bengals really, I mean, they're still in a great position. They've got a great coach, probably the second best quarterback in the NFL behind only Patrick Mahomes, who finally got one against Burrow. Congrats to everybody. That's not even a dig at him. That's just, look, 4 great games those guys have played against each other, and each one came down to 3 points in the last minute. And that's what we're going to expect for the next decade or so. It's just going to be great football, a lot of fun to watch. So to my Titans fans, I'm in the off season with you now. Let's get down to the season of lies and wishes and dreams and hopes just to have them crushed again. I love y'all.
Hey, Danny, real quick, and watching that game, the end of it, man, was it more like this?
Everybody hurts.
It certainly wasn't fun. But,
I know.
It's reminiscent of what happened in 2010, right, where penalties got him at the end of the game, and it was a silly mistake, but that was essentially Osai's rookie season. He was out all year last year with the meniscus, and he's a Texas guy. He's got that swag like you guys were talking about with the basketball team earlier.
Yep.
Go Vols. But listen, he's going to come back, and God bless the poor soul that has to block him week 1 next year, because that's going to eat at him for 8 months.
I just hope y'all fan base forgive him too. Y'all fan base got to forgive him. That's what's going to suck the most.
I hate 99% of Bengals fans. I'm not like them. So Osai is good with me.
Yeah.
Straight up.
That's fair. Thanks for
the call, Danny. Appreciate it.
I mean, we hate 99% of Bengals fans, too.
Well, it's good to see that it's self-hate within the fan base more than anything.
Oh, it's loathing, for sure.
I know some folks that are hurting this morning, man.
Well, we are excited to hear back from Bubba in Dixon.
Hey!
After our conversation with him on Friday. Hello, Bubba. How are you?
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
I'm doing wonderful. How are y'all?
Great.
Good. And it's crazy
Good.
you called back when Danny on the line and you said you had some boots for him because he was slanderous last Friday.
Man, but you know what, though, man? It's fine. Everybody does hurt. And we have I will say that I hate 100% of Bengals fans, and I hate 100% of the Bengals. So, hey, good for you guys. Just sit on the couch because they just bangled it back up. See, I kept my mouth shut.
You
I didn't say a word. I let my wife and them wear their stuff. I still didn't say a word. I fed them, Ramon. A good spread.
You did still?
Man, homemade brisket chili, some smoked salmon, some smoked cheese dip. Dude, we had a spread, and I kept my mouth shut the entire game.
What they didn't know is I left earlier and went to my friend's house, who has an obnoxiously big, I'm talking big, Kansas City flag, and I had it hidden. And when that field goal went through, actually when that hit out of bounds went, I went just put it on and sit down. Now, once it went through, I just looked at him. I tried to make everybody in my house cry just because the amount of pain they put me through wearing all that. Then I took it a step further because my wife had some of my Bengals friends call me. Yeah, I lied. I 99, 98%. But they were sending memes and text all day just to annoy me. But I had the upper hand again, Ramon.
Yeah,
I've got this big, obnoxious flag holder that goes on the back of a big old truck. And so I know the establishments where they were having watch parties. So I drove my happy butt from Dixon to Nashville, driving circles around where they were, giving them a good old honky honk and saying, "Where are you going now?"
They could have followed you back home.
Hey, that'd be the last time they do it. Hey, we don't play like they do in Cincinnati. They all. Hey, listen, they on that soft stuff up there. Go ask Eli Apple. They weak.
Cancun on 3. Thank you, Bubba.
I love it, Bubba.
Appreciate the call.
Bubba, don't forget.
That's great.
I love it.
Bubba was ready to go on Friday.
He was.
He really was.
He was. Said his wife ordered stuff and everything.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
I'm glad he can redeem himself, though. That's good stuff.
We got a conversation with Joshua Perry, our fellow Ohio State Buckeye, I should say our native Ohio State Buckeye on the show. A couple players that I'm excited to see at the Senior Bowl coming up over the next couple of days. And Kayla, one of them's a Coug.
Oh,
You kind of stole my thunder here. Not
Did I
gonna
really?
lie.
Okay, well. Do you
know.
want to introduce the
No, you go for it. I'll just add in.
Well,
this is my boy.
Not really an athlete.
I got to hype up your guy. And then you can add the things that I missed. Anyway.
The one Coug down there.
Dayon Henley. Originally a 2-star recruit from Crenshaw High School in Los Angeles. Committed to Nevada as a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Posted 17 receptions for 232 yards and 3 touchdowns with Nevada. Was the kick returner. Nevada. Tomato.
Nevada, guys.
Was their kick returner from 2017 to 2019 and now is an inside linebacker prospect at the Senior Bowl as a Washington State Cougar.
Mm-hmm.
Says a lot about his coaching ability, him being coachable.
It's a fascinating story.
That is.
I don't know if you're familiar with Crenshaw. It's a tough place.
Oh.
Okay. So if you don't know it, it's a tough place. Nipsey Hussle, actually from Crenshaw. And Dayon's dad was actually Eugene Big U Henley's who they call him.
Oh,
he's a big community activist and actually worked a lot with Nipsey. So they grew up he grew up knowing Nipsey.
Mm-hmm.
But his dad went to prison, had to learn the hard way, and he's kind of taught his kids, like, you got to stay on track.
We're going to do it the right way.
Yeah, but he was a spark for that Washington State defense this year, which really most of the year did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
And he was just one of those guys, like I look at David Long Jr., just always everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how I kind of thought of Dayon this year with the Cougs, just everywhere. And making plays.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be fun to watch down there for sure.
The other guy I'm excited to talk to played at the team that has the best nickname in Tennessee high school football. And it's not even close.
I got to hear this one.
Chattanooga Central High School, the Purple Pounders. The Chattanooga Central Purple Pounders. That's right.
I didn't even know we could say that on this show.
It is the best nickname in Tennessee high school football.
Wait, who is this?
The Chattanooga Central.
No, but who's the...
Curtis McClendon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right tackle and NFL guard prospect for the Chattanooga Mocs.
Yeah, because he stayed there.
That's right.
Solid. I can't wait to talk about this kid. Talk to this kid.
Played in 49 games in his time as a Chattanooga offensive lineman. Started all 11 games this past season with 7 at left tackle and 4 at right guard, where he played a lot of his career moving forward into this last season in Chattanooga. Excited to talk to him, and I love these off-the-beaten-path prospects who come in from these small schools and are probably day 2 or 3 guys. But I gotta learn if Curtis McClendon is as proud of the Purple Pounders nickname as he should be, because surely. Plus, there are a lot of good places to go eat in Chattanooga, and I want to know which one's his favorite. So
Can't wait to hear this.
Big Champies guy.
They got a good program down there.
They do.
As far as development, I've spoken
Cole
to
Strange, the New England Patriots guard that came out at Chattanooga last year.
To their O-line coach there. His approach is the appropriate approach to have. They're going to be a factory for OL. That's my opinion.
I think that's huge when you can take a school like that and okay, this is what we're kind of getting known for and continue to produce.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And coming up next, we bring Joshua Perry into the conversation. What are the next 3 days like for NFL prospects? We'll get Josh's thoughts on that. We'll get his thoughts on a couple of Ohio State linemen who could be fits with the Tennessee Titans, including the guy Mel Kiper has the Titans selecting at number 11 in Paris Johnson as well. Joshua Perry joins us coming up next on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone. It's Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors on a 104.5 The Zone. Alongside Ramon Foster and Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling. As we go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, continue talking NFL Draft and Senior Bowl with our friend Joshua Perry, former Ohio State and Senior Bowl linebacker, who joins us. Good morning, Joshua. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're good, and wanted to ask you just what these next couple of days are like, because I know you went through the Senior Bowl process, and you got to have these meetings and go through all of these practices. What are these next 48 hours specifically like as players start practice and start these meetings with all 32 teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first real chance to get face-to-face with the personnel departments around the NFL. And you only get one chance to make a first impression, so I know it's a big deal for everybody who's out there. It's way more laid back than the combine. Like the combine, you just feel like you're under constant tension, constant stress. And at the Senior Bowl, the meetings are certainly more casual. You really get to kind of get your first taste of an NFL playbook as well in position meetings and group meetings. But also, this is a great opportunity because a lot of the evaluation that goes on is what people see on tape from afar and then what they get to see you doing running around in drills at the combine. But rarely do you really have an opportunity to play actual football and get into the nitty-gritty of one-on-one drills and position drills and group drills and team drills. And so for some of these guys, it's a better opportunity for them to try to make an impression and raise their draft stock than running around in underwear in Indianapolis.
That's right. Joshua, you cover a lot of the Big Ten up there, former Ohio State player. So when you're looking at this Senior Bowl, there are clearly some Big Ten guys. I know the Titans looking for an offensive lineman or two, maybe wide receivers, always, the DBs. Anybody in particular that you saw this year that stands out?
Yeah, and I don't know if some of these guys are going to be at the Senior Bowl, but, as you start to look at Ohio State, Paris Johnson is a guy that everybody's going to be looking at. And my evaluation on him changed from last year to this year, honestly. He was a guy who I didn't see with that true grit and that toughness in the trenches. Just didn't finish plays like an offensive lineman does. And then this year he comes out there and he's really finishing plays, putting guys in the dirt, really latching on the blocks and, showing that aggression that he needs. He was great in pass protection. He was really good in the run game. He moves extremely well, and he's a smart guy. So it's certainly a player I would have my eyes on. And then another one at the wide receiver position that I really like is Parker Washington out of Penn State. And he's a bit of a different wideout because I know a lot of teams have the guys that are 6 foot plus, just really long bodies that have the catch radius. He's more of a guy who I think fits into the slot, a smaller body, but he could be a good returner. He's a guy that you could use on jet sweeps. Really good after the catch, too. He can run through tackles. And so if you're looking for one of those bodies, which I know the Titans last year went with a bigger body at the wide receiver position, that's a guy who could be a really good compliment.
Another guy that will be at the Senior Bowl, we know this for a fact, he's actually on our interview list, and I texted you about him the other day, Michigan wide receiver Ronnie Bell. And you said this is more maybe of a developmental type of project?
Yes. I think that he is a solid route runner. I think his releases need more help. And this is something coming out of the Michigan program that I just think is a deal with the wide receivers there. I think that they have a little bit more upside because they come out underdeveloped considering how much Michigan wants to run the football. The other thing about him, too, is I think that his frame needs to fill out a little bit more, put some weight on. But he's a guy who's a great leader. Everybody in that locker room loved him. I loved covering him, so he's a guy who would certainly fit in terms of a culture piece. It just might be a year or two before you really get that production out of him that you would want to see.
When it comes down to evaluating Paris Johnson, that's why I want to go to the old line too. He played guard. Do you see him still staying at guard? And also the other thing is this, was his high school tape more of an intimidation factor when it came down to his play? Because to hear you say he didn't have the physicality, that's all I ever saw on his high school film was him dominating. What switched off at Ohio State too?
I think it was, so for that standpoint, I think there was a lot of inconsistency in terms of the scheme. And I think that there was a deficit in trust between him and his offensive line coach. They brought in a new offensive line coach, Justin Fry. He came from UCLA, and I think that he's phenomenal. And as a result, I think that we got to see what Paris could really be at his top end because he really trusted what was going on there. I think that he's a guy that could kick outside. Also believe that he's a guy that can play inside too. He's got the versatility. I like his length a lot. But just in terms of the way that he played, I really do think that coaching had a big factor in it. Just the fact that he could trust his coaching, trust his scheme, trust that what he was being told would help him become a great player. And then you could see him playing freely, because I agree with you. I mean, anybody who knows about his recruiting profile, he was out there dominating kids. Like, he finished every single play. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure that we got to see that throughout his full career, but this last season we definitely saw it.
Another guy out of the Big Ten, too, man. I actually watched this kid grow up some, dog, and the Titans could go either way. They go OL, they can go probably cornerback. This one kid, Joey Porter Jr., what did you see out of him at Penn State?
So this one it's a really interesting evaluation for me, because he has everything that I love out of the new age of defensive backs. The dude is super tall. He runs extremely well. He's got elite length. Like, he's a guy I joke around, scratch his knees standing straight up, right? Like, he has all of the physical build type things that you're looking for with defensive backs. This is the thing about him, is you need to trust that you can coach him to not get the penalties, because he's a guy who took full advantage of the way that you can play defensive back in college, where you can make contact up until the ball is thrown. Doesn't matter where you are on the field. And he was very physical and very handsy. You get to the NFL, and a guy like that I played with at Ohio State was Eli Apple. You get to the NFL, and they're throwing nothing but flags on him, because the guy, all he does is push and grab and pull, the stuff that you can get away with in college that you can't do in the NFL. So that's my biggest thing with him. He's going to have to trust his technique and his skill more than his physicality at the next level. But if you're talking about guys that, if I'm looking at him and I say, we can't build another guy like that, like, I'm not going to go out there and find another guy that looks the way that he does. I would draft him just based off of that with the first-round pick, and then it would be about how we coach and develop him to really fit into the NFL game.
That makes sense.
Joshua Perry with us this morning, football analyst for Big Ten Network and host of the Rally on Bally. Joshua, when you look at C.J. Stroud and where he fits with Bryce Young and with Anthony Richardson and Will Levis, what are his strengths compared to those other guys? Where do you feel like he's improved the most over his final couple of games at Ohio State?
Yeah, I mean, I think CJ really is the prototype when you're starting to look at NFL quarterbacks. Like, he's got the arm. He's made a lot of the throws that you want to see. And the ones that I judge are when the hashes are so far apart in college football. When you're on the far hash trying to get the ball out to the sideline, can you make that throw? C.J. Stroud has made that throw with consistency. He's hit on the long ball. He's thrown the ball well with touch. We saw finally in the college football playoff that he can play with a little bit of edge too. And what he did with his legs, I think, really opened some eyes. Will you get that with consistency is the next step. So to me, I look at him as the prototype. For me, it's QB1, and it's very close between him and Bryce Young. Bryce Young gets the knock for me just because of the frame, and we're starting to see now where this game is going. Yeah, first off, you always had to be durable in the NFL, but with these elite pass rushers and as quickly as they can get on quarterbacks, you have to be able to withstand the wear and tear of getting sacked, because it's something that naturally happens in the NFL. So it gives me a little bit of pause. I also watch the way that the guy plays. I watch his competitive spirit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm totally fine with going out there. The Anthony Richardson, Will Levis thing, I'm totally out on. And this is not to disparage those two guys, but I just feel like there are too many red flags in either one of their games. With Will Levis, it's certainly the decision-making, and I understand he's got the frame and he's got the big arm and he's got movement skill and some of the elite leadership, but his mechanics to me don't really compute, and then the decision-making is a red flag. And then for Anthony Richardson, I like the athletic ability. I like what he can do with the arm, but it's really raw for me to want to say that's a risk I would take with the first-round pick. Now, of course, with quarterbacks, you have to do it, and you're getting these guys at a discount even with the first-round draft pick, so I totally understand it. But I think that there are two quarterbacks in this class that are A1 and AB to me, and then you can filter the rest of them out however you want to.
And Joshua, it's so interesting, too, talking about being pro-ready immediately. Ramon talks about this all the time, that offensive linemen now are built differently and coached so differently in college with these fast up-tempo systems that perhaps they're not as ready for a downhill zone running kind of offense like what the Titans want to be and like what Derrick Henry requires here in Tennessee. When you look at Paris Johnson, but even beyond that, just look at offensive linemen from systems like Ohio State's or Tennessee's, for example. What's the biggest challenge in getting linemen in those systems to play right away in the NFL?
Well, I'll say this too, and I think Ramon can resonate with this. I don't know if there are that many great offensive linemen to begin with. Like, that is a position I put a premium on, because to find the guys that have the size and the skill and the movement ability and the process to compute these different fronts that you're going to see, it's really difficult. And then all the skill players get to work on 7-on-7s all year long, and they get to really practice their craft, and they can do it in a way that makes sense. To play offensive line, you have to be physical. Like, there has to be a physical element to your training. Like, you can work on drills and certainly improve there, but if you're not playing real football, then I don't know how much better these guys get. So I just think from a developmental standpoint, the offensive line is always going to be behind a lot of other positions. I think at Ohio State, they have done a really good job of trying to break down the practice plan to really emphasize what they need to do so they can run the ball efficiently. And I think the only game where they really didn't run it that well was against Michigan, and part of that was because they played from behind. They didn't run it well against Georgia because nobody ran it well against Georgia, but there were still some plays on there where you can isolate those guys in the trenches, really opening up gaps when they needed to. I look at Tennessee as a little bit of a different system, because it's air raid, totally tempo. And those guys come out a little bit more raw, but that's, again, where you have to rely on your evaluation. So offensive line is tough, man, because I just don't feel like those guys can get the amount of quality reps that they need through practice and training camp and up through the season, while everybody else is running around doing 7-on-7s, getting great reps.
Making Ramon a very happy man right now.
Yeah, he's over there like I can see he's just It's
my
like,
cheeks have gotten red over here. My light skin side is showing up over here, Josh. Like, I didn't even have to pay for that, bro. Like, look, drinks on me, okay? I'm done with this interview. Kayla, you got it.
Josh
from here,
will
man.
take
Josh,
that up. Maybe up in Indy. What's that good food place up in Indy?
St. Elmo's.
Yeah.
St. Elmo's.
Because Joshua played up there.
Josh, I didn't even have to pay for that, dog. Like, I keep trying to tell these folks, look, the O-line takes a little bit more time to develop. You got to see this. Run first, and then you get the pass. Like, this is coming from a defensive guy.
I know.
Look, Josh, the floor is yours, bro.
One more question. I got to ask you about this, because we talk about this on our podcast, Press Pass, but all the talk this year about, if Ryan Day doesn't get it done, Mike Vrabel. I mean, can we put this to rest?
Yeah, we'll put it to rest. First off, shout out my guy Mike Vrabel if you're listening. Always appreciate you, Coach. Here's the deal: is I think Mike Vrabel has done a hell of a job. First off, like let's start there. And it always hasn't been a perfect situation. He's found ways to be competitive. Number one. Number two, this is a guy who was highly successful as a player in the NFL. He spent time now as a coach and been really successful in the NFL. He was at Ohio State for a couple years. I thought what he did there was really good. We needed a personality like him in that building. But I'm not exactly sure this is a guy who's going to be out there recruiting and dealing with the NIL stuff and all the different changing landscape of college football. He wants to be in the NFL. He's done a hell of a job there. I want to see him continue to be a great NFL coach. I don't see this happening. And then the flip side of it too, Kayla, Ryan Day has lost 6 games as the head coach at Ohio State.
Yes.
You win 11 games there, and all of a sudden we're talking about a guy who needs to be fired. In most places, 11 games, they're getting ready to build a statue for a guy. So the whole thing is just way out of bounds, and I think both of those coaches are exactly where they need to be.
On the other side, okay, the team up north.
Mr. Khaki.
Mr. Khaki himself. Pleaded. Are they still pleaded? What's up with him? Because wasn't there another story this weekend about there's some discussions with him wanting to double dutch and play with the NFL coaches?
Oh, God. So, I mean, the wild part about it was they had the meeting in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and if you're not interested, then you don't let somebody come to your house to meet with you, right? Mm-hmm. It's a really interesting, unique spot that he's in, because he's got a contract that he wants a new contract that he feels like puts him as a top 5 paid coach in college football, or highest paid coach in the Big Ten, whatever you have. And I think that he's earned that based off the last couple of years. But you got this NCAA thing that's looming, and there's talk about a level 1 violation, which means probably a suspension. Can you extend a coach that's getting ready to be suspended? His offensive coordinator just got in some legal trouble, and there's not a lot of details out there, but they had to part ways there, so he's got to hire a coordinator. There are a lot of factors that go into this, and the thing that I keep saying is the thing that I believe is true. I believe he wants to be an NFL head coach. I'm just not sure that this is the time that you want to leave Michigan. With the quarterback coming back, you got 2 running backs coming back. The whole offensive line basically is coming back. You're going to have everybody on defense. You got a young tight end who's really good. Like, they're going to make another run at things again this year. So it's a wild spot. But to me, like, if I had, my wife saw me at a restaurant looking at a woman, and I'm like, oh, no, don't worry about that. And then I invite that same
You'd be
woman
beat down
to my
on the
house.
spot.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. That would be a bad situation, and that's kind of what's happening right now.
So he basically invited him into his house to show them how big it was, because that's how big of a check he's going to need. Is that what that was?
I mean, whatever the conversation is, how big the check is involved in that conversation, and he's earned the right to have that conversation. So I'm totally here for it. Go out and get your money, but you can't say you're fully committed, but also have the second interview in town. It's going to be a bad look for sure.
As a recruit, would you side-eye that if you're choosing between Ohio State and Michigan, and he's playing in traffic with the NFL? What would your decision be as a recruit?
That's a really interesting question, because I think there's context that's involved here. I think that recruits go to Ohio State and Michigan for totally different reasons. I think Ohio State has proven itself to be a school where you can get developed to be an NFL draft pick at almost any position. I think that a lot of kids go to Michigan because they really believe in becoming a Michigan man and like all the other things that go along with representing that logo and that university. And so to answer your question, I really don't think it bothers a lot of those kids that Jim Harbaugh is looking around at the NFL, because I think that there are other things that are drawing them to that school besides playing for Jim Harbaugh. So it's a really unique spot. Like, he has the luxury to do these. And this is the second year in a row he's done it. It hasn't really killed recruiting, and they're more of a developmental spot than Ohio State is anyway when it comes to recruiting. But they've been able to keep their roster intact. They had a bunch of guys say that they're going to return. Blake Corum made his decision before Jim Harbaugh even said that he was fully committed. And he said, listen, that's on coach to go figure out what he wants to do, but I want to be at Michigan because I want to be a legend here. And so I think that there's something deeper about going to that university. It's not to say that guys go to Ohio State because it's shallow. I went there for some very important reasons, and I wanted to make sure I had a legacy at a program like that. But in this day and age, I think that there aren't a lot of kids that are making that decision. A lot of the kids that go to Michigan are making it because they want to be at Michigan.
Gotcha.
Interesting stuff and great stuff as always with Joshua Perry, former Ohio State and Senior Bowl linebacker, giving us a couple of minutes this morning. Joshua, we appreciate the time as always, man.
Definitely.
Always good. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, friend.
All right, there is Joshua Perry with us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. And when we come back, react to some of that and close out the show before we hit the road.
Let's go.
What kind of music is Ramon playing in the car? Maybe we'll
I
find
can't
out next.
wait.
Ramon, Kayla, and Will, 104.5 The Zone.
DJ.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. Here we are already a few weeks into the new year. How are those New Year's resolutions working out for you? And more importantly, was one of your resolutions that you would finally address those hearing challenges. Yeah, your family members are probably talking to you about it over the holidays last month. And I want to tell you about my friends at Brentwood Hearing Center and encourage you to wait no longer to make an appointment with one of their 5 doctors of audiology. They'll visit with you. They'll learn about where you're having challenges hearing and understanding conversations, demonstrate devices that will help you, and tailor a hearing solution to your specific need. So don't be like so many folks and wait several years to get help. Give them a call today at 615-377-0420 or visit them online at BrentwoodHearingCenter.com. Resolve to improve your life and the lives of those around you by addressing your hearing challenges. That's 615-377-0420. Brentwood Hearing Center. Better hearing, better life. Final segment this morning on Ramon, Kayla, and Will, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. With Ramon Foster, Kayla Anderson, I'm Will Bowling. Jonathan Schaefer has one more time until Friday to look us in the eyes from across the glass.
Man.
I don't
Before we go to
ever
Mobile.
see him.
Well, that's true.
I think you're the only one that can look him in the eyes.
It locks eyes with
I'd
him.
like to see more of you.
Who?
You.
Oh. You want me to switch spots with Will? I don't think
I was
he'd
just
like
going to
that.
say, what kind of question is that?
Let's go to the phones one final time today. Go to Lee in Nashville, 615-737-1045. Good morning, Lee. Hey, Lee, you there?
Morning, Lee.
Uh-oh.
And Lee's not.
Lee's phone might have died. I think Eric's phone died earlier.
Yeah, the phone monster.
I can't say anything. I lost my charger.
Working
today.
overtime.
I forgot it.
So what music you playing on the way down there, Mo? Is this
Bunch
like a
of trap music.
Okay,
That's what we're
perfect.
playing. No, I got a big variation of music, man. You know what? I could take y'all down like a Memphis rap like lineage.
Oh,
Teach
God.
you that. Give you some Project Pat, some 3-6 Mafia, some Juicy J, some Gangsta
Wait,
Boo.
I know
Lil
like
Chat,
those things.
Lil White. I can take you down there.
I'm just gonna keep listing.
I mean, I
names.
got the whole some Player Fly. I got you.
What's Will's favorite band again?
the
Fun?
band Camino.
Oh, I thought it was
Do you not
Jodeci.
have that in your play?
Camino, I got Apple Play music, baby. We can
Okay.
find whatever you want to.
Because he's
Apple-
gonna want a little of that.
I'll take suggestions.
Now mine's like '90s rap and R&B.
90s R&B. I got a nice playlist. I'll get you some UGK. You want to do that? Some Lil Troy.
I have no idea.
I can also play. I can
want
also play some
SWV.
fun. Some Keith Sweat. We can play that going all the way down.
Sweat.
You could be making up names and I would not know.
You don't know who Keith Sweat is?
I know who Keith Sweat is, but I'm
Okay.
talking about half the people you've said. I'm just
Yeah,
over
yeah.
the head.
I mean, that's cool. Like I'm very vast. I got some country, a lot.
That's
Play you
good.
some Kenny Chesney, some Garth, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I got that.
Give it
Whatever
away,
you want.
Give it away, give it
Hey,
away.
congrats to Ryan Stonehouse on heading to the Pro Bowl
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
He told us a couple weeks ago when you were gone, he said, I'm kind of a Chiefs fan. That way I can go to the Super Bowl.
That's beautiful.
And there we go. They
Townsend,
came. They
the
came
punter
up
from
big.
Kansas City.
As a rookie too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As a rookie.
And I think he's the type of guy too that really gets excited about this type of stuff.
Should. I don't think players enjoy it enough. We don't. We're all about what's next. Sometimes, no, just wallow in the idea that you accomplished something. That's so cool to me, you know? Good for Stonehouse, especially a year that has some lowlights. That's a big-time highlight for the postseason.
2 Nashville natives get added to the Pro Bowl rosters.
Mm-hmm.
Dawson Knox added to the AFC roster.
Big.
Jalen Ramsey added to the NFC roster.
Jalen got it?
He did.
Nice.
Look
He
at
used
that.
to be a first ballot guy.
Uh-huh.
And he probably still is, but these young
He's still-
Thundercats,
He's still that guy.
he said he want to come home. Did we start that rumor?
Yep.
Oh, Will's on board for that one.
I
He's
feel
on
like
board
he's
for that
getting
one.
bored in LA. Is that weird to say?
I mean, most guys want to navigate back to home anyway. When you're a Southern kid, most times you want to come back to the crib like
Send
that.
it.
You know, that would be me. But I know some guys go out there and never come back too.
Right. They like the sunshine.
That's my guy, Jalen. I love Jalen.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm into it. We can, man.
Jalen and I,
MJG, yeah, 100%.
me and Jalen stole one of my buddy's peanut butter pretzels while he was doing a race at a track meet.
Man, I thought
And he
you-
came back and he was ready for his like post-race snack. And Jalen and I had eaten all his pretzels.
The one that's
This
like peanut butter
freaking clown.
stuffed.
Yeah. The little circular like peanut butter
nuggets.
stuffed pretzels.
I have a buddy of mine, John, gave me a real good pro tip on a great snack.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Those peanut butter stuffed pretzels
Uh-huh.
and grapes together.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's a
not
peanut
bad.
butter jelly sandwich.
Not
That
bad at all.
sounds good.
I had no idea. I was like, how
Peanut
come
butter jelly, it's hot.
nobody ever told me about this? And now I'm on this diet, and I'm just like, you know what, John? I appreciate this. I'll get this one in March.
So you're not getting anything at Buc-ee's.
I'll probably get a sandwich.
Oh,
I'll probably get a sandwich and just eat the meat
I'm
off
getting
of it.
like 5 things of Celsius.
You know what?
Same.
He just said there's like a wall. I didn't see that last time.
Only
Yeah,
thing
there's a
you-
wall of Celsius.
Do they have? Yeah, I've seen that.
There's a
in
gummy
there.
bear wall too.
You gonna get you some?
Yeah.
100%. I saw a kid at the basketball game this past weekend. That's the one I got kicked out of. Walking around with a
Oh, he
big
had to
old-
add that in.
Yeah, that's part of the story.
You know.
Okay, kid walks in the gym with a whole bag of gummy bears. I was like, you remember those? I was telling my wife, you remember those days just walking around with gummy bears in your hand like that?
You assume those days are over for me. I don't know.
They're not over. Well, we'll see. I mean, they're grown man.
I was a big fruit snack guy.
Were you?
Oh, I
college.
still am.
What's
I am
the
too.
difference?
Still am.
There's no difference, is it?
It's a little bit sweeter and not as chewy.
Yes.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
different kind of
I can
material.
pop some fruit snacks, man.
Same.
Do you?
Just
4-5
down
packs at a time.
R.I.P. to the R.I.P. and peace to the Walmart on University Commons at UT, the 24-hour Walmart.
Caleb.
That was like the side of a
spoiled.
No, it's gone now. That's what I'm saying.
We
Is
didn't
it-
have none close.
What? I don't even know what. No.
It closed my senior year. I would go get like a variety pack of 300 dinosaur fruit snacks.
How does a Walmart close?
Tots and pears, Will. Something
What?
I never had at UT.
Do you even have dinosaur fruit snacks at Tennessee?
We didn't have a Walmart that close. We had to like plan to go to Walmart out west. Like that's where we were.
But
with
legit,
it.
how did it close? It wasn't busy enough?
No. It was too big. No, I'm serious. Like the inventory of all the stuff they
Wow.
had. Because we were there over the weekend, Saturday, when I went with my dad and my brother for the Texas game,
Yeah.
for the UT Texas game.
Yeah.
And the Publix up there still does well.
Oh yeah.
But half the like the Great Clips up there closed. Like a ton
Dang.
of places have closed
Well,
up there.
I'm not going. Never mind.
I wonder how
I'm
much
not going to go
inven-
that way. No negative.
Wonder how much inventory got stolen from there.
You would go there.
That's college kids,
Lots.
Taylor. Come
Goodness.
on. Like, you think we paying
Well,
for gummy bears
I did
in
do
there?
Dine and Dash once.
See?